gun screaming like a siren at night. Red and blue shouting, nobody's right. Smoke in the streets, truth under attack. Everybody's loud, nobody's got facts. Feeds keep scrolling, nerves stay tight. Matchsticks flicked in the dead of night. They sell fear, cheap package the lies, while the clock keeps ticking, empires on fire. Can't sit quiet while the world's on edge. Lines in the sand, standing on the ledge. No script, no leash, no polish, quiet. Just a voice in the dark and a spark to the wire. This is and I'll bring the fire. Gonna light it higher. No filter, no fear, I say it raw. Strike the match, let it burn through the fog. This is and I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. Everybody's selling truth like a brand, buying opinions they don't understand. Talking in circles, screaming online. Keyboard courage, borrowed spines. Yeah, power plays dressed up as peace. Same old wolves with different teeth. But silence is loud when the house is burning. And the fuse is short, yeah, it's still learning. I don't dance for the left or the right. I stand in the heat, I stand in the fight. No strings, no chains, no manufactured choir. Just gasoline thoughts and an open lighter. This is and I'll bring the fire. Gonna light it higher. No filter, no fear, I say it raw. Strike the match, let it burn through the fog. This is and I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. The world's on tilt, pressure climbing. Truth don't whisper, it's perfect timing. You can't cancel the smoke, you can't stop flame. Say my name when it hits, say my name. Why? Say my name. Say my name. Fire don't ask permission. Fire don't need a side. Fire just shows up honest and exposes the lie. This is and I'll bring the fire. Truth is harder. Burn it down till what's real survives. No smoke, no mirrors, just heat and lies. And I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. American fire. Strike it. Let it speak.
What's happening, guys? Happy hump day. You can tell it's hump day for me as I am a few minutes late. I apologize for that. I was having some issues getting the stream going, but I'm here. I made it. We're well ready to get into it because, my God, folks, things are taking off again. Iran, they done messed with the wrong man, and it is ramping up again. Iran, this time it's going to look a little bit different, in my opinion. But the question is, was Trump prepared for this all along? I don't know. We got a lot to talk about, though, because it's getting spicy with bombing Iran again, with everything Trump's doing in NATO. He's got some strong words for some of those NATO countries. We're going to cover all that. We're going to cover Graham Plattner about to drop out. Why? Well, the pressure is mounting for him, and the Democrats are in a very bad place as people are big mad, even on their side, about how they're dealing with this. So we'll break that down, plus major wins for election integrity in our nation. We got some major court wins this last 24 hours. Plus, we got the Tyler Robinson trial. We got to catch up on the latest on that. The Fagosphere Podcastistan is falling apart as all their narratives are going up in flames as this wild pre-trial continues, and the evidence just keeps coming out. It just doesn't look good for them. Plus, got updates on the justice front of things as the Trump administration continues to crack down on criminality here at home. So, got to cover it all today. So, welcome. We got plenty to get through. Glad you all are here. Hope you're doing well today. Let's see. Please hit that like, hit that subscribe. We have a lot to get to. Rumble, only one on Rumble right now, and that's okay. What's up, Sheath? How you doing? That's all right. Rumble is an interesting beast, but here on YouTube, it's packed. We got the one. What to do? Gen X MAGA. What's up? Yeah, you guys were big early. Pat M. Gary Douche. Welcome to the membership, my friend. Now you can see all the members live. Sebastian Chose, Lindsay B, MFN Tango, Jim Atkin, Rafe, Motley Cruel, Saved by Grace, Case Shuey, Rum Dog, Henry Perez, one of the many, Jay Tires, I Speak for You, Christina, Sonny Danielson, Dadbot Todd, Golden Code, Stephen Katzman, Taya Dime, Heidi Moga. It's good to see you again, friend. It's been a bit. MAGA Anon, Sabbatic Witch, Kika, Tammy Anderson, Rum Dog, DJ's in here, Susan Road, Let's Travel, Flatulence Facilitator, G Shell, Build Fire for Christ, J Bone, K2, and many more. Wish I could get to you all, friends, but just not going to be able to. Too many. But that's a good thing. So as always, guys, please light up the chat with your questions and comments. Have your conversations with each other. We have the best community on YouTube. We do police the chat, so no trolls allowed. We will block you and not think twice about it. Do not be a dick. It's an easy rule to follow. Kay Shuey says, I love how it's okay for Plattner to grope conservatives, but when a Dem accuses them, they want them out. Well, that's... Believe them when they show you who they are. Let's see here. A couple others here. J-Bone says, I had a lengthy call with Mitch McConnell for about 20 minutes. Oh my gosh. I'm sure you did. Have you guys seen that trend going around on X? I just had a call with Mitch McConnell. It is hilarious, man. People are coming up with hilarious things for that. It's so funny. Sabak says a preliminary hearing showing Candace is a fool, more so because she keeps saying it's a trial. That's very true. Absolutely true. I completely agree with that. Romdog says some people mature mentally differently. I found many with TDS don't own anything of value or don't work for anything. That's all true. So listen, oh, real quick, Dante Joyner with the $50 super chat. Thank you, Dante, for your support, man. That's awesome. Says, appreciate everything you're doing. No one online is talking about what you're talking about. City Alone's a true enemy. Well, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm doing what I can to show people what's going on, at least from the way I see it and the way I put things together. I do want to add that I'm not the only one. There are some excellent people doing excellent work out there, like Tom Luongo, Promethean Action, and many of the people on the Rich Does Politics podcast, who I regularly visit. Rich, I'll be with him again this weekend. So there is a few people doing excellent stuff, but it's not many of us. I'll grant you that. There may be 10 prominent voices, and by prominent I mean people I pay attention to that maybe have, in between 50 and 100,000 total followers. Not many of us, that's for sure. It's really not many of us, but we're all doing our best, right? We're doing our best. The one thing about all of us talking about this is, as far as I know, each one of us is independent. So that tells you something, right? We're not paid by anybody. We're not sponsored by anybody. Nobody gave us a platform. We all built it up ourselves. We all did the job ourselves, coming to these things honestly, I believe, and organically. But, we do our best, and I will continue to do my best. Going to be wrong sometimes if the information's not good or if I don't have the clear information, but I'll always seek the data and I will always seek the receipts to show you guys, because I don't want to be speculative. I don't want to just come up with stuff out of nowhere. I am not Candace Owens or Tucker Carlson. Let me just put it that way. So, but maybe, yeah, anyways, I'll leave it at that. But So today, today's one of those days where we're going to be covering a very difficult situation. What Trump's doing in Iran is a difficult situation. Now, I know how I see it, and I know I have full trust in our president, but I got to tell you, there's a lot of people confused. And a lot of people have different desires for how this goes or what we do right now. Many people wanted the MOU ceasefire to last. Others wanted us to go do what Trump's doing right now. I think the smartest people are just like, Trump will finish this job however he has to. And Iran and City of London will dictate what that is, whether it's peacefully or whether we obliterate them. That's up to them. And Trump, I think that's what we're learning from Trump more than anything. And what we've learned from Trump for the last decade is that he gives people easy outs if they take it. He doesn't want death. He doesn't want bloodshed. He doesn't want chaos. Trump wants things orderly. He wants everybody to prosper. He wants people to live. And he wants us all to get along. Now, he's also a realist, though, and knows it's not possible for everybody. But he's going to give you a chance. And that's one thing we go with chance. And I will say Trump is much more patient than many others. One thing this Iran thing is definitely proven, though, is that he is not beholden to the neocons. He's not beholden to Israel. He's definitely not beholden to the liberals, which we've always known that. He's definitely not beholden to Europe, Davos crowd. He's beholden to no man. And that's one thing that has been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt for anybody paying attention. At this point, it's like the Tyler Robinson trial. The only people who still say nonsense about the president are grifters. They are liars. They are pushing narratives, and they have nothing to back it up. But does that mean they're going to stop? Nope, because they're going to keep trying at least to make that money, but they'll eventually end up old, non-influential, alone, and poor. And that's what you do when you sacrifice your reputation, your soul for attention. But unfortunately, many are doing so. I will not be. I would much rather stay small and under the radar than give people what they want to hear. That's not my job here. That's not what I want to get into. But we're going to get into it here in just a second, guys. So please hit that like, hit that subscribe. If you want to support the channel, you can always send a super chat, as Dante did. Thank you again, Dante, for that very generous super chat. You can send a super chat. I will guarantee you'll get read. You'll get answered a question if you do so. Otherwise, I still will do my best to get into the chat and answer the community questions and comments and concerns and criticisms if they're done so honorably and if you tag me, because otherwise it's very difficult for me to see them in a fast-flowing chat. But thank you for your attention to this matter. I did have a few new subs come in this last night for the video, a video I'm having doing well. So if you're new here, please join in. This is a great community. Amazing people, smart people, people seeking the truth, and patriots fill this community here on this channel. So don't be a dick. That's why we get rid of the trolls. We get rid of the people kind of coming in trying to cause division and mess things up, because we don't have time for that. Nobody does. We're going to make this a place where people can have real discussions and not be taken over by somebody trying to destroy it. Okay. I wish Trump could stay our president. I know. Thanks to FDR for ruining that for everybody by getting everybody turning on him and passing that stupid amendment. We could have had Trump for 3 or 4 terms if that had happened. But yes, Trump is currently live at NATO again, and I'm sure I will monitor some of that, see what comes out of it later, if any news breaks. Otherwise, we'll cover it mostly tomorrow. But I've got plenty of other stuff from NATO to get into, including this ramp up of Iran. So shall we get into it, friends? So yesterday, Iran stupidly decided to break the MOU again, break the ceasefire, and attack attack more ships. These people, man, you can tell they don't want peace. And most of us who pay attention to this stuff believe that is because the IRGC is a proxy of City of London, the globalist cabal, and they can't lose Iran. They need it. They need it to control shipping. They need it to manipulate oil prices. They need it to be able to pull the trigger and destabilize the Middle East whenever they feel like it. It has been a source of a lot of money and a lot of power for them for a long time, and now it's slipping away from them. So if we thought this was going to go away without a fight, well, I got some oceanfront property in Arizona to sell you. The good news is we don't have a president who's a pushover. After this attack, Trump, he gave the green light. And the green light is now to basically take them down, perhaps once and for all. As U.S. CENTCOM put out last night, U.S. Central Command forces have begun launching a series of powerful strikes against Iran to impose heavy costs for targeting and attacking commercial shipping crewed by innocent civilians in international waterway. U.S. strikes are in response to Iranian attacks on 3 commercial vessels transiting Strait of Hormuz. Iran's demonstrated aggression was unwarranted, dangerous, and a clear violation of ceasefire. Here's what is important right here. Attacking commercial shipping crewed by innocent civilians in international waterway. See, this is giving Trump cover. He no longer, because we have, when we first initiated back in March, last day of February, a lot of the international community, the people here, the Congress, they were all like, like they were trying to use their arguments about we went in unilaterally. There was no reason for this. There was no attack. So Trump, by attacking then, pulling out before his war powers timeline ran out, this set them up now where Iran is now the instigator. This gives Trump a lot more options moving forward. So there's a lot of reasons why the MOU, the ceasefire, were very smart. This is one of them. Iran's been getting weaker as we've been getting stronger. They have not had much money. Nobody's been buying that oil that was unsanctioned and got out there. So these are all serious issues for Iran while we've been shoring back up and getting stronger and repositioning. Now, according to Barak Ravid, who is the White House correspondent at Axios, says Trump approved the Iran strike plan, ordered it today while in Turkey for NATO summit. Trump held a message in Ankara with Hegseth, Rubio, and Bessent, who flew with him on Air Force One. Chairman Dan Kane, who is already on the ground for NATO summit, and other officials. Isn't it interesting? I mean, Hegseth makes sense. He's the Secretary of War. Rubio makes sense, Secretary of State. Bessent, that's so interesting, bringing Bessent along. As we often say here, all wars are economic wars, and this is yet again more proof that Trump he's knowledgeable of that and continues to fight from an economic standpoint first and foremost. And then General Dan Kane. U.S. officials said still unclear how long the strikes are going to continue. We'll get this assessment about the results of the strikes and make decisions after. Here is Trump's statement on what is now going on.
We attacked very powerfully last night the very dangerous people from Iran. They're sick. There's something wrong with them. We said, go and do your funeral stuff. And instead of that, they start shooting rockets at ships yesterday. And so we hit them very hard last night, very hard. I would say 20-1, 20 times tougher. And I told them every time you hit, we hit. And of course, they're dirty players, so they go after everyone, probably including me. I've been number one on their list for years. And they're a bunch of scum, you want to know the truth. They're scum. And so we don't like them. I don't like them. And they're evil people, and it's the denuclearization of Iran. And we're going to denuke it. We're not going to let them because they're crazy, and they can't have a nuclear weapon. And they go around killing people. They've killed thousands and thousands of our soldiers. They've killed hundreds of thousands of innocent people. They had the roadside bomb, Soleimani. I took care of him, first term. And that was a big thing because I think it probably would be a lot stronger had he been around because He was a bad guy, but he was an evil genius, but a bad guy. And he was the father of the roadside bomb. The roadside bomb is a bomb that goes on when you're driving your little vehicle around, and it goes on and you have no legs, no arms, and no face. And they've killed thousands and thousands of people. Even the SS Cole was theirs, if you remember that disaster. So I don't like them at all. And frankly, I think we waste a lot of time with them. I think we should just do our business. Can you imagine? They start shooting bombs, actually missiles at ships yesterday. Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, a couple of others, and they don't. I don't think they know what the hell they're doing. But they're bad people, very bad people. I think they're incompetent, by the way. Because if they were competent, they would have made a deal a long time ago. Like, how about 47 years ago?
This is very strong language coming from Trump. He's been playing the game, let's put it nicely, the last couple months, trying to be fair to the Iranians, give them a shot, treat them as their actual people. But they've gone too far. And Trump continued. He had a lot to say on this issue with them.
It's a very interesting question. To me, I think it's over. I don't want to deal with them anymore.
He's talking about the MOU.
You know what scum is? They're scum. They're sick people. They're led by sick people. And they're vicious, violent people. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they'd use it. As far as I'm concerned, it's over. I'll speak to our negotiators. They want to negotiate. They're good people. Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner. But they have to come back to me. As far as I'm concerned, it's just a waste of time dealing with them. They're liars. We make a deal. And if I make a deal with him, we have a deal. And he goes out, he talks. We make a deal. Everyone's agreed. No nuclear weapon. We make a deal. They go outside, talk to the press. They say, we never even talked about it. There's something wrong with them. They're cuckoo.
You see how angry he is? Trump is somebody who, people think he's got a short fuse. I don't see that at all. But when he is lit, he allows himself to be angry in person, which, other presidents would not. And I think that's a good thing, honestly. We like that about Trump. We like how human he is. But they've pushed him too far. And you could tell the frustration is there. He didn't want this to happen. I really believe that. I really believe Trump was trying to give them an out. And again, when the city of London controls something, that proxy, they do not want to let go of power. And so basically the Iranians have chosen death. They've chosen, let this go through to the end the hard way. My hope is that if we follow this through, this means that as Iran gets cleaned up, and I do think there's no way we lose this, guys. We have the upper hand. These people are like, not these people, I shouldn't say that, but their military is like an annoying bug, okay? And we've been the ones allowing them to get away with it, just nitpicking at us, trying to be like, leave us alone, and we won't, but they won't stop. And so now it's time to eradicate fully this government. That's what Trump is ready to do now. And it's interesting to me that you can tell this is, he's trying to placate both sides here. There's different sides of this argument. There is we can get a deal side, and then there's Trump, and Trump's telling his own people, you guys are wasting your time. We went this way. I tried it. We worked it out, but now it's time to escalate. And this is the first major military operation Trump's done in his entire time as president, even considering the first term. We only ever did targeted strikes before, or in Venezuela, targeted extraction. We've never done what Trump is doing right here. And so we're seeing Trump in full war mode, how he goes about it. And it's fascinating to watch because we haven't seen this before in any of our modern day presidents. But I do believe there's a lot of strategy going on here, but to me, it even confirms there's so much more going on behind the scenes than we know. So for everybody who thinks they know something, for everybody who thinks they've got it all figured out, you don't. You don't. All we have is what Trump tells us and then what his actions follow. And right now, those actions are saying, we gave it a shot. But this whole thing is, okay, we'll play hardball. And it's very interesting. This is happening while at NATO with all these globalist City of London, Davos leaders there. That's very interesting. So we'll talk more about the timing here in a bit, but let him finish.
As far as I'm concerned, it's over.
Talks won't resume after we get through the funeral proceedings. Does this mean that talks with Iran will not resume?
I don't care. They can talk, but I think they're wasting their time. They're a bunch of lying guys. I do my whole life. That's all I do is deals. My whole life is that's how I became president. I guess that's a deal too, right? But I made a lot of money. I had a lot of great success, tremendous success. Everything I did, I was successful. And I deal with these guys, and I say this is from a different school. They're liars, they're cheats, they're sick people, they've hurt their people. They killed 54,000 people as of now that were protesting. You know, when people say, how come they haven't taken over? They can't take over because they're dead. They killed them. Nobody's going to take over. They have no guns, and the other side has machine guns. And they're killing them. The press doesn't report it. But they're bad people.
That's interesting.
They're bad people. And frankly, I don't want to waste my time with them. Now, I'll let our wonderful negotiators keep talking if they want, but I don't see it. I don't like these people, you know that? I like him, I like the leaders, I think all of these leaders.
Great. And they love
I think they didn't treat the United States fairly for many years, but that's okay. But they're sane, rational, good people. Most of them. I don't like a couple of them, to be honest with you. But there are a couple I don't like much.
I love it. But, okay, so a lot there. Do you notice every time we have a little bit of, a few weeks past, Trump brings up the protesters again, how many they've killed. Do you notice every time the number goes up? That's not accidental, and he's not lying. Trump is reporting to us that these people there actually is some attempts to try to take over Iran from the inside. And maybe that might have been something Trump was trying to buy time for as well. But he just said, the last time he mentioned a number of protesters died, it was 42,000. He just said 54,000. And he just answered all of the people who say, Trump, you should get the people to take over. Why aren't you speaking to them? Why aren't you calling them to do it? The Iranian people would respond. Trump just gave the answer. They're getting mowed down, absolutely mowed down. There are attempts, and this IRGC structure is just embedded so deeply, willing to keep killing their own people. They're not going to go away easy. And we had hopes for the MOU. There was, I know I personally did, because I don't want to see this. None of us want to see this. We want to see the peace that Trump's been able to get to so many other nations. That's what we want to see. We want to move on from this. Oil to flow, Israel to be safe, move on from all this, the whole Middle East to be safe. That's what we want. But again, there's so much more going on. So much more going on. Iran is not controlled by Iranians. Let's just put it that way. They're controlled by this hardcore Iranian Guard Corps, the IRGC, that is proxy of City of London, along with the mullahs, this religious, hardcore, caliphate style, Sharia law style, what's the word I'm looking for? Radicals, for lack of a better word. Those were all put in place on purpose to run this place. They have ties to the UK. Khamenei's had $billion real estate empire in the UK, despite sanctions, despite being tied off. I mean, the Muslim Brotherhood, all the push for overturning the Shah, you can trace all that back to MI6 operations, CIA involved. It all goes back to the City of London control, the intelligence agencies, all this. And we're finding out that they are just not going to let go. They can't turn those people. They're going to have to be destroyed. And that's what I think Trump's finding out. If he didn't already know it, which, he probably did, but he still probably wanted to give him a shot anyways. But this also does another thing. Bought a lot of time, shows the world who they really are. When you are kind to an enemy and you give them shots to play along, get an order, the world looks on that favorably. And then when those people keep rejecting it, you gain more and more support each time. That's another thing Trump's doing. More people are going to support this every single time because it's clear Trump's trying to find a way out. And I don't mean a way out as like desperate. I mean a way out as in to get the win with as little bloodshed as possible. That's what Trump's trying to do. Same with Ukraine and Russia. But just like with Ukraine and Russia, they don't want the wars to end. They don't want the wars to end because they need that money. They need that money to keep flowing. They need that control to keep flowing, that soft power they wield from behind the scenes. There's a lot going on here, but this is Trump really, really starting to get to the point. Like you understand, as this ramp up, we have the greatest hard power in the world, the U.S. military. No one's even close. We've proven that time and time again. Trump's taken that to a whole nother level. You take that, they can't beat it. But Trump doesn't want to use that except for where he has to. This is why a lot of people are disappointed that Trump hasn't, gone full scorched earth on deep state players here, because he does what he has to in the order. He gives them all a shot, and he also wants to follow our system and what the people want. Trump said it when he first came into office in the first term. Now the government is back to the people. The people don't like war. So Trump is taking this. There's a whole lot of factors going on here. But regardless, here's more.
They are behaving very badly, as they have for 47 years. And, we hit them hard last night after they launched. They launched a couple of, you don't have to know about this. You got stuff on your mind. But they launched a couple of drones and
this is Zelensky
one
right there.
Rocket, one missile, and at ships, because they were in the strait, which they have every right to be. And so we hit them very hard last night, very, very hard. Probably hit them hard again tonight. I'll give them a little warning. We're going to hit them hard tonight. But we'll see how it all works out. No, I'm not happy with them. It's like, for instance, we'll have a meeting and we'll talk about the denuclearization of Iran, because that's what the war is. It's not a war. It's really the denuclearization of Iran. And we'll have a meeting and we'll talk about just that. That's because my whole thing is not about regime change. It's not about, although I think it's regime change when you knock out the first group, the second group, and now you're I think that's maybe the ultimate regime change. But that's not what it's about. It's about, we don't want them to have nuclear weapons. And it's denuking or denuclearization. And I think we've made a lot of progress. And they'll get out of the room. We'll talk about it like we're here. They'll agree on everything. And then they'll go and have a news conference and say, we never even talked about it. They're cuckoo. There's something wrong with these people. And for 47 years, they've been the bully of the Middle East. And they're not the bully anymore.
Now he goes on and talks about what's coming next. And this is interesting because this is where we haven't gone yet.
First of all, we took out additional, they were trying to rebuild their radar, and they had about 60% built. Now they have to start all over again. Look, we're not attacking at the highest level. The highest level are the bridges, which we can knock down. I would say in one day we knocked down every single bridge in Iran. There's not a thing they can do about it. Their electric manufacturing facilities, right? Their electric plants where they make their electricity there. We will, if we have to, we'll take them out. I don't want to do that, but if we have to, we'll take them out. They have desalinization plants. We'll take them out if we have to. I hate to do that. That's probably the one I would like not to do least. We attacked Carg Island last night. We knocked out a piece. I said, don't touch the oil, because maybe we'll take over Carg Island. We may take over Carg.
You hear what he's saying? This is major escalation Trump's talking about. I mean, taking out the desalinization plants, that's huge. That will impact civilians. He doesn't want to do that, but are we there? He's warning everybody. I'm ready. I'm ready to do this. Taking Carg Island, that would eliminate Iran's entire economy, as their entire economy is based around oil. What else does Iran produce? They don't have much else going on for them. They're a major importer of food, all kinds of goods, because it's a desert. There's not much out there except oil. And maybe, I don't even know what else. I'm not an expert on Iran. I don't pretend to be. But I can tell you, I know how their economy works, and Carg Island's a big part of it. Trump is ready to he's going to pull it out from under him. These people, they are messing with the wrong guy. And I do believe that we've built up for this. And all this time, I have a feeling too that between us and I'm sorry, some of those people are going to hate this, but with Israel, I have a feeling behind the scenes we've been game planning all the war gaming this the whole time, and just waiting to see if they pushed us into it, which apparently they now have.
There's not a thing they can do about it. But I said, don't hit the pipes, just hit everything else. And they hit it. They may hit it again tonight. So, as for your question, normally I'm not that way. But they really deserve it. Because they're saying they want to make a deal, but they don't. They asked for a timeout. They wanted to go to the funeral of Khomeini. And I said, give it to them. And they start shooting missiles. I mean, it was a crazy thing. Now, we did kill him, so I guess you have to look at it that way. But the funeral took place, and they wanted to have a period of time. And they also asked that we not kill them. And we said, we're not going to kill you. They were worried we'd kill them during the funeral. I mean, if you can believe it, what a crazy... Did you ever think I'd be doing this for a living, Marco? Did anybody ever think I'm doing, maybe Pete, but this wasn't supposed to be for me. Pete loved this stuff from day one. But they said to us, please don't kill us during the funeral. I said, I won't. And we didn't do anything. In fact, we made it safe for them, actually. And what happens? They try and knock out two ships, a Saudi and I guess Kuwait, right? Kuwaiti, oh no, Qatari. In addition, really three.
Yes, sir.
So you had 3 of them. And
Trump backing up the Middle Eastern states is very interesting. I think he's trying to get them to come in more as well. Saudi Arabia, despite our relationship with them, despite Trump's pretty good relationship with Mohammed bin Salman, they still haven't entered the Abraham Accords, and this is something he's really, really wants them to all do, because by entering the Abraham Accords, now they're all tied diplomatically. He's really, really trying to get that to happen, and I think it's interesting that he's willing to strike based on them striking those ships. So that means that Trump is also looking for every opportunity to teach Iran a lesson and to fully put them into submission. Every opportunity he takes it, while also defending the Gulf states. You wonder why these Gulf states are loyal to Trump, even though they still mostly look out for themselves. But they're loyal in the sense that they allow us to use their bases. They much more so than Europe. They've been a much better ally to us in Europe recently. One thing I thought is funny during this is how nervous Zelensky looks. Do you think it's any coincidence that Trump is going into detail about what we're willing to do with Zelensky there? I don't think so. I think it's Trump is the ultimate showing, ultimate show of strength. He loves to flex. Here's a little more. I'm sorry, I'm showing a lot of clips, but I think it's important. This is historical.
they'll never build a nuclear weapon under our deal. But I don't know if we're going to have a deal. We may just do it without a deal. Because you know what? It's easier. Because these people, they lie and they cheat, and you have an agreement, and they'll go outside. For instance, they agreed, well, we'll never have a nuclear weapon.
And then he's interesting. He says easier to do it without a deal. That's interesting.
Agreed. Then they go outside, they have a news conference where they leak that we never discussed the subject. Now, who would believe we never discussed the subject? Because for me, that's 99.9% of what we're doing. It's denuclearization of Iran, okay? So when you ask, our guys can continue. You know, Steve is great, and Jared, all the guys. They know him very well. Yeah, actually, they're working on your stuff, too. I wonder which. I picked two beauties. You know what? We settled 8 wars. I got a couple of beauties here. But Steve's great, and Jared's great. You know, they're the right guys. And we'll see what happens. But I will say this. Iran, they've misbehaved for 47 years. They've killed our soldiers, they've killed our people, and they've killed a lot of people all over the Middle East and elsewhere. And the roadside bomb was their preferred, you know, the preferred weapon was by Soleimani, the roadside bomb, where it would explode under a truck. We actually built trucks with floors, steel this thick. And then all they did was they made bigger bombs. And we have young guys around not walking around because they have no legs. But their legs were blown off, their arms were blown off, their face was blown off, and they live because of modern medicine. You can do anything, but they're living like in hell. Their whole life changed because of Iran. And that was 96% of the people that used that, they were made in Iran. And so we have a score to settle too.
Very interesting words there. We have a score to settle. See, Trump has always looked at this as the end of a very long-term war. 47 years. He repeats this over and over and over again. He's been saying it since the 80s. We need to take out Iran's nukes. He's got all the details on all of our troops they've attacked. Over 1,000. We can document at least over 1,000 of our people and troops killed by Iran or Iran-sponsored terrorists. We have that. We have those numbers. I believe Trump has even more. He knows of even more because he gets to see behind the scenes all the intel on all this. And so he says at the end, we have a score to settle. That's very interesting. We haven't heard him speak like that before. Now, this, I don't know if I trust this, but it does make sense. And it is the U.S. government studying plans for elimination of multiple IRGC generals, including Ahmad Vahidi, in a joint U.S.-Israeli operation within the next following days. Their elimination is intended to remove the obstacles for achieving any long-lasting peace deal between Iran and the United States. Again, I don't know if I can trust this source. I haven't seen it confirmed anywhere else. It is 105,000 followers, so, who knows. But I'll tell you this. The reason I'm sharing it is because I believe it. This is exactly what we did when we first went in. We worked with Israel. Israel accumulated the data of where these people were, and we took them out. I have no doubt that's what's coming again. But notice it says IRGC. That's the focus. So is there a moderate component in Iran actually trying to make the deal? I do believe that might be possible. I do believe it. Whether or not they're willing to return it back over to the people or not, there may not be that moderate, but they might be moderate enough to give us a real deal. The IRGC, though, clearly continues to be the real enemy we're trying to knock out here. We took out the mullahs. We've never even seen the Ayatollah Mujtaba, the gay Ayatollah. We've never even seen him. He's been so injured. He's been on life support in a coma. That's what we've been told. They go talk to him, but we never see him. We don't even know if any of the mullahs still exist. But we do know the IRGC is an enemy. Is Trump just could finally end them once and for all? That would basically take away all the military might in Iran. And that would allow the people to rise up. So we're going to follow this closely. I'll keep bringing all updates. But to me, there's a real escalation happening here. And I think the other aspect of this is that the city of London wants as much chaos as possible to try and bring Trump down before the midterms, because they're losing their options here at home. As Trump keeps purging the deep state, we have Pulte in there clearing out a lot of people. We see the panic from people like Hillary Clinton saying, don't fire everybody. Stay put. Don't give them any information. They're freaking out over here. They really are. We're going to talk about that more in the midterm segment and what's going on with Graham Plattner. But the point is, they're losing their methods here at home. Trump's pulled most of the funding. We've gone after SPLC, dried up these NGOs that pay the protesters, that pay for the riots to occur. All that chaos, that's all going bye-bye. As they lose it here, they got to keep it up abroad. And so if Trump ramps this up, they want to keep it going. Trump finishes it. It's going to fall apart very quickly for him. Now, he's not only talking about Iran here in NATO. And here's Trump giving us some updates on Ukraine and Russia.
Well, thank you very much. It's a great honor to be with President Zelensky. We've talked a little while, and we speak on occasion by phone. We had a great talk the other day, I think, very positive. And I think we have some very good stories to tell, what's going on. He wants to see a settlement, and I think President Putin wants to see a settlement. And usually that means a settlement, but who knows, this is a tough one. But I just, we just had our NATO meeting, and it was a great meeting. You probably heard it was a great meeting. there was a lot of love in that room, a lot of unity, and I don't think it could have been. Marco, what do you think? It couldn't have gone much better. Do you have a feeling as to what you just saw?
Very positive. A lot of unity, strength in that unity.
Yeah, really good. Scott, what do you think?
Yes, sir. All the Europeans, they attributed you to saving NATO, and they want to do what they're supposed to do and do the right thing.
Yeah, there was something very special, and I will say that what they've done with Turkey and President Erdogan has been a friend of mine. He's been a friend of mine for a long time. Strong man, good man, and he's done a fantastic job. Every road, everything's perfect. He's from the airport to the destination, everything's been perfect. So we had a really good meeting, and we thought this would be a good time for President Zelensky and I to meet, and we'll see what we can do. But we've actually developed a good relationship. It's hard to believe, right? From the Oval Office to now, I think we've developed a very good relationship.
Zelensky does not look very relaxed at this.
No, this is going to be the beginning, maybe.
Yeah.
Just the beginning. And the country has a lot of future. It has such great land, such great assets, such great people. And you have a lot of people. I was with a group in Poland, and you have a lot of people in Poland, and which is a terrific country with a really great president. I happen to endorse him, and he's doing a very good job. And they were saying they love Poland, but they really want to go back. You're going to get a lot of people back when this is over. They left some, and they're all. I think they're going to come back. A big percentage are going to come back. So have a good talk, and we're going to see how it all goes.
Did you see Zelensky's face when he said the people are going to come back? Zelensky looks like a dead man walking. Just saying. He really looks bad here. I think Trump is putting it to him again, and we'll see what happens when he gets alone again with the City of London handlers, the Starmers, the Macrons of the world. We'll see what happens that. But this is really interesting, and I haven't talked about this much yet. But Trump went to Turkey, and he said if it wasn't in Turkey, he might not have gone. And he's really been talking up Erdogan since then. Now, Turkey is an issue. We have lots of issues with Turkey. But there's a lot of speculation out there, and I tend to think this might be possible, that Trump is trying to turn Erdogan away from the City of London, to break him out. And that's why all the schmoozing's going on. That's why he decided to go to this in Turkey. And it's just been nonstop love fest. And, when Trump puts it out there like that, there's definitely something going on. He's signaling to the rest of us to, pay attention. Watch this man. Watch what I'm doing here. I'm trying to bridge something here. So that's really interesting. And the other part is that a lot of people were worried that once Iran was kind of tamed or slowed down, that this would turn into a Turkey versus Israel war. But that's not happening, especially not with Trump visiting there and how this is turning out. So again, the speculation, the people speculating about things ramping up, getting so much worse, Israel entering into other words, Trump is heading all that off. He's clearly heading all that off while also still trying to finish Iran, Russia, Ukraine. But, for everybody who thinks that either Trump's failing or the other full opposite of that is that he has every little bit under control. The truth is like, no, the real truth is we're still in a war. We're fighting this Davos system, this City of London system, these globalists. We're fighting them. We're fighting their proxies. We're trying to restructure all this world order, and the enemy gets a say. Blaine Holt always says that, and I love it. He says the enemy gets a vote, and they do fight back. And so what we're watching right now is like there are power dynamics. I still think Trump is fully in the driver's seat of all of it. I think Trump has the leverage, but some of that leverage he holds back on purpose because, you unleash all of it. Not many people survive on their end. Civilians get hurt. Trump doesn't want any of that. And so we're watching him masterfully wheel and deal. But again, he's proving, as he just said in front of Zelensky, If we have to use the hard force, we will. And that's the one thing you guys cannot match no matter what. You can't match our hard force. You can't match our financial system, what we've built in America. That's one of the reasons Trump is restructuring everything here, turned us into the energy superpower of the world. That's why he's doing all that, because he's making sure they have no leverage over us in any way, shape, or form. And so they're losing, but they still get a vote sometimes, and they're not going down without a fight. And that's what we're watching right now, I believe, is this power struggle, this power dynamic, as these people are trying to stay alive, and Trump is giving them all sorts of different options. The more they hold off, the worse those options get for him. Now, this is interesting as he is calling out Spain now. Now, Spain did not let us use our bases there to launch from for Iran, but Spain is also the main funding that gets to through their shadow banking. That's the main way City of London gets money to Cuba. So that's very interesting knowing all that. And here's Trump speaking on Spain.
And I want to thank Mark. He's been a great Secretary General of NATO. I'm not happy with NATO because of what they did with Greenland. And I'm not happy with NATO because of the fact that they didn't want to help us with the number one state sponsor of terror. That's Iran. They were unwilling to help us. Now, in all fairness, I didn't speak to Mark about it. I think if I did, it might have been different. But we didn't need help. But I was really testing. I wanted to see whether or not they'd be there. And the answer is they were. I spoke to Germany. I spoke to France. Spoke to UK. Spoke to Italy. I didn't speak to Spain. Spain is a wasted cause. We don't want to do any trade business with Spain anymore, by the way. I'd like you to cut it off. Spain is a terrible partner in NATO. They don't participate. They don't pay. I don't want anything to do with Spain. Cut off all trade with Spain, please.
Wow.
Including visits. Okay, we don't want anything to do. Watch them come running back. Oh, they'll come running back. They treat this man terribly, and this man's a good man too, great man. They're lucky they have him. But Spain doesn't agree to anything, and you shouldn't carry him. I mean, you sort of automatically carry because you're protecting an area, so they're there. So they probably figured they have to protect us, right? But we don't have to, and we don't have to trade with them. I don't want to do any more trade with them. All right?
Yes, sir.
Take it immediately. Don't even talk to them. They're hopeless. Bad people, because, they have everybody else going and paying and working. In Spain, in particular Spain, there are a couple of others, but in particular Spain, they're open about it. They're hostile about it. And let's see how hostile they remain when they call up and they, please, we want to trade with you, sir. We want to trade with you, sir. They make so much money with us, and we're going to see that they make a lot less. I want no business with them.
Oh, that's intense. That's Trump is mad. Spain has been taken over by some of the hardest far lefties in Europe, which is hard to believe since Europe's very pretty left anyways. But yeah, Spain is one of the worst. The commies have taken over in many aspects of Spain. And it's pretty clear what's Trump doing? He's been calling out the communists here at home, and now he's cutting off Spain. This is one of their success stories, quote unquote. I mean, I had a talk with a commie not that long ago, a couple months ago. Hardcore lefty guy. Thought he was, he basically identifies as a communist, although he wouldn't call himself that. He was saying that Spain is one of the great examples of how it works, because it works in Spain. I went on to show them all the ways it wasn't working. But regardless, that's what they want to believe. So I believe this is also a shot to the DSA commies here at home. I really do. Because they look to Spain as an example of greatness. So Trump is also going to make an example out of Spain. You only exist because of us. You're only successful, quote unquote, because of us. So there's a lot going on here, but Spain is one of the main hubs for City of London. Again, how they route money to places like Cuba. So this is another shot to the City of London. Very interesting. And now, actually, I want to share what Colonel Watkins says too. Says that's not coincidence. Spain's corrupt. Neither is Russia kicking the shit out of Ukraine while Trump's at NATO being chumming with Erdogan. NATO chose to support a criminal in Ukraine and give that killer of his own people. Think Hitler. That's what Zelensky's doing, killing his own people when they're not willing to fight. All their weapons while screaming Russians are coming. They can take their Cold War hysterics and shove them. Also, the contrast of U.S. military action in Iran while NATO puppets are barking like seals in Turkey. Contrast you're being shown. So again, there's so much going on there. And then Trump went back to Greenland.
I mean, just so they understand, Greenland is very important for the United States, but it's not important for Denmark. In fact, when Denmark was overrun by the Nazis in less than one day, Hitler beat them out in one day, took over. They asked us to take care of Greenland. In fact, we took Greenland, and then stupidly we gave it back. We shouldn't have given it back to them because we're the ones that need it. We need it for protection of the world, not just the United States. And it's very important. It doesn't help Denmark, but it helps us. And it's very important for us. And again, they were defeated very quickly. Denmark was beaten in one day, less than one day, by the Nazis, by Hitler. And when this happened, they immediately switched it over to us. We owned it. We had it. We were taking care of it, and then we gave it back, which is, I don't know why. I wouldn't have given the Panama Canal back either, so what do I know? I certainly wouldn't have done that because China's tried to take over the Panama Canal, and that's not going to happen. So, but I just, it's interesting. I'm very unhappy with NATO, and yet this man is a great leader, and he gets it. He gets it maybe better than some of the leaders.
It's so interesting how he keeps lifting up Ruta. There's something going on there. I don't know what it is yet. We don't have enough information. Ruta doesn't have enough power to maybe show us what's going on, but there's something Trump really likes about Ruta, and it's fascinating. But again, back to Greenland. He keeps the pressure on, and this keeps him scrambling. You notice how Trump, one of the ways he beats you or gets you into submission is he triangulates so many different areas. He keeps you fighting so many different areas. So we're going to take Greenland. They're all in a tizzy about that. We're going to cut off trade with Spain. They're all getting in a tizzy with that. Because remember, these people are all connected. This is that City of London, Davos, Euro system, EU. They're all connected. And so he keeps triangulating. I'm bombing Iran as I speak. Uh-oh. That's trouble. NATO's not joining. Again, it's just everything. Constant reminders. Zelensky right there. Hey, Zelensky, oh yeah, we're getting along great. We're getting along great. We're going to work all this out. You're going to, this is the beginning, Zelensky, as Zelensky looks dead on camera. Oh yeah, Erdogan's great. We're bringing him in. Now they all got to scramble and wonder, are we losing Erdogan? Trump is hitting him from every single angle he can possibly find, and they just don't know how to fight back. But again, they're going to keep trying to drag us into wars. But Trump's once he ends Iran, and the way we're bombing right now, I don't know. We're going to see tonight if he starts going after civilian stuff. That will give us a signal as to how quickly we're going to wipe them out. But we'll watch that carefully. But last thing I wanted to show you guys was Trump with all the leaders, and just look at the difference in Trump with everybody else. Does this man look like he wants to be a part of all the rest of them? There's Starmer. What a sleazebag. This guy looks dead. Ruta's about as happy as can be. But I just think it's funny how stone cold Trump looks amongst all this. He's not there for fun, folks. He's the boss, as he said. So with all that said, lots of interesting stuff coming. The Iran operations continue right now. It should be going on more tonight. And right now, guys, I'll just be honest. We're kind of in a fog of war. All I can tell you is that they've put their toes in. They've dug their heels in, and Trump's no longer putting his toes in the sand. He's going all in. So watching this play out is going to be fascinating. And so pray for our military. Pray for wisdom that we see this through with as little civilian casualties as possible. But it does look like we're finally on the road to taking out Iran with the hard power and finishing the job. All right. Hit that like and subscribe, guys. I got so much more to get to today. But next, I'm actually going to do the Griftar Report next, as this lots of news coming out of the Tyler Robinson trial and freaking out by the influencers, by the phagosphere. But before I do, let me take a break, get into the chat. I did see quite a few people tagging me on stuff. Let me make sure I didn't miss any. There was a super chat that came in. Freenez, thank you so much for supporting the channel. As always, says, here, but busy day, Central Committee in Santa Barbara. Still plan on reaching out on Discord about Flynn, just saying hi and God bless. Thank you, Freenez. Good to see you. God bless you too. And God bless your work on elections in California. I love seeing people like you who don't quit, even in a place like California. You're not giving up. You're fighting for what's right. And that's amazing. Okay. Let me catch up with anybody else who tagged me. Flatulence says Trump's doing the "you're fired" to Spain is like a magic dart that'll decimate their economy. Yeah. See, that's the thing with it's the entire EU, right? They've created their economy to be all financial system. They went full technocracy, okay, versus where we were dabbling our toes in, and they were trying to get us all the way there, but they weren't able to. Trump came in and stopped it. And now we're building a real American production economy again. It takes time, but it's happening. But in Europe, they don't have any of that anymore. No more production. They don't create anything. They don't drill. They don't make their own energy. They're completely reliant on this financial system where we are the military. We were fully funding NATO, and where they relied on our trade at a deficit to them. We were the free traders and they were tariffing us, and so on and so forth. So they've created a system where they could milk us and our wealth, take away our middle class, and survive on it. Well, Spain is one of the most egregious examples. They're one of the worst out of all the EU countries. But yeah, Trump's going to prove it with all of them. Europe's economy, and no matter where you look, they're doing poorly. And they're only going to do more poorly the more we pull away from them, because it forces them to be more self-sustaining. Even the tariffs have significantly hurt them. The forcing them to pay more into NATO has significantly hurt them. And those aren't even that big of a deal yet. Imagine we pull out completely. So yeah, we'll watch Spain scramble. But remember, one country in the EU is also going to pull down the rest of the EU too because of their system. So watch Spain start capitulating quickly. As Trump said, they'll start running over and begging for help. Spain was on the front of stopping Islamic invasions hundreds of years ago, and now they're getting completely conquered. Yeah, they are. I mean, by commies, the rape gangs, the Islam. Yep, absolutely. Islam, absolutely. They've let it all come in. They're terrible. Let's see. Monica says Spain's a powerful cog in the City of London drug trade because Latin America is under their control until now. Well, yeah, I mean, and again, remember, Spain is just another tentacle of City of London. Every EU country is right now, especially the more leftist ones. They have less independence, where say like Italy had like some fight back with Meloni at first before something shifted in Meloni. You have other nations trying to, Hungary was until they lost Orban. Poland now has a very sovereigntist leader that Trump pushed for. So there's some fight back, but yeah, overall, the more ingrained countries like France, Spain, Germany, Portugal, those are just, you just have to look at them as extensions of City of London at this point. So Spain being the City of London, controlling Latin America in a lot of it. Yeah, that's how City of London controlled them. So you're absolutely right. And that's why we're extricating them out of Cuba. We're cutting off Cuba, which is going to make a massive difference, as Cuba was one of the places they were like held on to fully for so long. And that's shifting quickly. Right now, Cuba doesn't even have power, as far as I know. Their power grid doesn't come back on. Flat says the economic warfare is almost deeper than the physical. It is. I mean, it's not almost. It is. That's how they changed everything. Everything starts with soft power. So their control is all exerted through economics and through the intelligence agencies. That's what they were controlling, media, controlling entertainment, all of it, psyoping the people so that we slowly gave up more of our rights, slowly allowed more destruction of our cultural norms, our values, our family structure. It was all soft power for a very long time. And the one thing we always had, that, and this is why they were so desperate to get rid of it, was our guns and our military. So we always maintain our hard power. We just didn't know how to use it. We didn't know how where we needed to direct it. And that's why they were trying to get rid of it, because they knew if they ever showed themselves, if they accelerated things, we still had the hard power to overcome it. So it was a constant attack to get rid of our guns. It was a constant attack to demilitarize us, to take away our, to weaken our military, to make it woke and soft, while also, like Obama, he helped them run out of ammo. As Trump would always say in his first term, he came in and he had to rebuild the military. They had no ammo. That's what they were doing. They were using the soft power to erode our hard power while we weren't paying attention. And thank God that Americans covet our rights. We covet our right, our free speech, our free religion, our free, and our guns. We covet those things. We were like, you will not take that away. And so whenever they got close, the American people would fight back, and they know, okay, we got more work to do. Obama made a huge push after Sandy Hook. I don't know if how many of you guys remember it, but there was a major political push in 2012 to take away our guns. And it was the biggest assault on the Second Amendment I've ever seen. And the people rose up and fought it back. I remember doing a blog about it back then, about how it gave me so much hope for the future. And that's before I even knew about the deep state, any of this stuff. But before we had any hope of Trump on the horizon, we pushed back so hard against this 2A attack. And that told them they have more work to do, because we weren't ready. We weren't ready to give up our guns. So yeah, they kept attacking us, but they did it slow and steady in ways that, we were the frogs in the boiling water. And anytime they turned it up too fast, we fought back. And because they weren't able to get rid of our hard power, they could never fully conquer America. And now, because of Trump waking us all up, using this hard power, making us proud to be Americans again, this is why I always say the cultural change matters most, because the cultural change dictates the political change in the future. The cultural change sets up the next generation. So the cultural changes in America started, going back to 1913, the implementation of the Fed, the income tax. People started accepting it, became normalized. And because of the Great Depression, we accepted stuff like Social Security, which was really just more government control over our future. That more excuse to tax us. We went through hard times, and they'd implement little changes that we'd accept. And once we accepted it, they introduced more little changes. And then you get this radical group in the 60s, and all of a sudden, like 20 years later, people are looking at the 60s and 70s, the hippie movement, as this like, oh, it was a rise against power, man, fight the man. So we accepted that, a little bit of liberalism / communism. It got in a little bit. Reagan led a cultural change that pushed back on that, set them back a little bit, made us proud to be Americans again. Clinton started eroding that. We got into war in the 2000s, and that started eroding our national confidence. Obama came in and really tried to accelerate it. But again, every single time it's a pushback, but Trump is the largest pushback in 150 years. He is. And he's waking us up to 100 years of managed decline. And that is something they never expected. And so now they have to go back and be like, how do we come back from this? That's what they're struggling with right now. This is why, look, if we got a Democratic president in 28, which we're not going to have, it's not going to happen. But if we did, okay, the culture is now shifted enough where we would fight back hard. And yes, they would do certain things. They would be very authoritarian. They would ramp up because that's their only chance to survive. This group, this generation of globalists, this generation of commies, this generation of this New World Order that got this far, they thought they were going to be the ones to finally get the win they've been building 100 years for. They thought it was going to be them. And then it didn't happen. Trump ruined it for them. So now they're scrambling. And so they don't want to go back to the slow push anymore. They want it now because they thought it was now. And so, yeah, they'll push too hard. And so if a Democrat becomes president in 28, it's going to lead to, and they do the things they say they're going to do, like pack the Supreme Court, abolish basically the Constitution, put a new constitutional convention in. They do all that. It's going to lead to a civil war. It just is. Because the culture no longer is going to take it. We're not accepting of this anymore. We're not ready to lose anymore. And so one of the reasons we got to pray it doesn't happen is because we don't want it to get violent here at home. We don't want to. We're winning right now. If we keep winning, we don't have to get violent. We'll keep moving forward. But and I'm very positive about it. I don't think we're going to have that happen. But it is an option, and it will happen if they get power again. It will. Some people predicted it'll happen if they win the midterms. I disagree with that. Even if they win the midterms, they're not going to have enough power to implement what they want. They're only going to be able to slow things down. They cannot. They don't have power to change anything in the midterms. But if they win the presidency, that's a whole different story. So, but we won't let them take it. Listen, we fought back against Obama in a time when we were not awake, in a time where we had no idea how bad things really were, in a time when we had no idea about this deep state, City of London, any of this. And we'd forgotten we didn't really remember at that point what it was to be American. We'd been in such so many decades of decline at that point, and we still fought back. You think we're going to not fight back now? No way. Now, macrophobia, wrong. First of all, an ideology never dies by violence. So you're wrong about that. You can't kill an ideology. Ideology will always survive. What we can do is we can take back so much of our country, as we're already doing, and make them so weak that they're just become a voice of nonsense, shouting in the wind. And that's where we're headed. That's where we're headed. It doesn't have to get violent here for us to win. And anybody who says it does, and it's just because there's a part of you that probably wants it, or you're black-pilled, and both of those are not helpful. Will we have to get? Conscious says Civil War really on that. I'm not on that wave. I said something significant has to happen for us to get there. See, guys, don't play these. I'm not going to play these stupid games. Okay. I'm not going to play these stupid games. Obviously I didn't say we're headed towards civil war. I did not say that. I'm not Tim Pool. Okay. I did not say that. I said that it would come to that if they pushed us too far. That's a big if. Okay. And I also said that I don't believe that's going to happen. Let's not play these stupid games. Don't tell me I'm saying stuff I'm not. All right. I hate when people do that. It just tells me you either heard me wrong, which I can forgive, or you're not being serious, and you're trying to, and in that case, just that's ridiculous. All right. Okay. We got so much more to get into, but let's keep moving. All right. Let's keep moving. I can tell people are getting all excited in here. Remember, guys, if you want to get my attention, please hit the like, subscribe, but to support the channel. But to get my attention, please tag me. It's much easier for me to find it. And if you want to support the channel and be guaranteed to be read, please send a super chat. And in which case, I'm not saying please, I'm begging for your money. I'm saying if you want to support the channel while also being guaranteed to be read, you can, because this is a viewer supported channel. I don't have sponsors. I have no one behind me. I don't have, big conservative Inc. behind me, Israel behind me, anybody like that. So it is supported, and I appreciate that. Kevin with the $20 super chat on cue. Love you, Kevin. Thank you, man. Says, haters in the chat, you've been noticed, banned. I lost your stream for 20 minutes. I lost your stream for 20 minutes. I'm sorry, man. Are you saying ban them for 20 minutes? Well, I don't see that many haters yet. I just saw a couple things are interesting. The mods are watching. They know what the real trolls look like. So far I haven't seen trolling. I've just seen people who disagree with me, and that's fine. But if they push too hard after I've answered, that's when you kind of know. Anyways, but thank you, Kevin. You're awesome, man. You've been helping a lot, so I really, really appreciate you, man. You're awesome. J-Man said, I think during Obama I knew about the deep state. I just didn't think they did 9/11 until later. Well, I mean, we learn, right? We just keep learning. We keep learning, and we'll see. The mods are watching. So Lisa says, we know you're getting funded by the Jews. Yep. My 7K check clears tomorrow. So it keeps me afloat. I tell you what, man, if you can be bought for $7,000 a month, you're pretty pathetic. That's not, I mean, I know to some people that's a lot of money, but in the grand scheme of things, that's not that much money. That is what, $84,000 a year. That's an okay living, unless if you're single, maybe, but it's definitely not worth selling your soul. I'll tell you that. $7K a month would not be enough to buy me. I gotta tell you. Now, if it got to $1 million a month, I'd be like, oh, I'm not going to do it, but I'm very tempted because I could live a good life and just, forget about the hate. But no, I couldn't do it. But you got to, the point is like, and I don't believe that everybody has a price. I really don't. I think that some people cannot be bought. And, but I will tell you, like, if they, when they push a lot of money at you and it could change your life and get you out of debt and everything, you'd have to, like, you don't have to think about it. That's not my point, but it would make everybody kind of, ugh. But then, real people know. You start thinking like, no, I want to sleep at night. I want to be able to die on my deathbed peacefully. I want to show up before my creator and say, I never gave in, and be told, well done, So that's worth way more than $1 billion a month. But, I gotta say, $7K a month, like that's like not even trying. You got to be pretty pathetic to accept. I always thought about this too, when from movies or whatever, when the hitmen who kill people, when they get a contract for like $10,000 and they're like $10,000, they go through all this trouble to kill somebody. I'm like, $10,000 to kill somebody? That's not that much money. It's really not that much. I just don't understand. like, I mean, and these guys, the hitmen in the movies and stuff, are always dressed well. It's like, it feels like they have it feels like they have unfettered funding, but they're only making $10,000 for a hit. And you're just like, that is not that much money for that. How, what? That's crazy. So anyways, all that to say that the 7K number that always goes around, I think that's very funny. I'm like, how many people are selling them souls for $7K a month? That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyways, it's wild, but none of that's happening here. I'm not actually getting cleared by Israel tomorrow for 7K. Sorry about that. Swaggy says it was a lie about the 7K proposed. Well, it may have been a lie, but I will tell you that we saw Thomas Massey's numbers, and he was getting 7K over and over again by a bunch of people in Iran and Qatar. So a bunch of Islamic state people were paying him 7K a month in his campaign. So the 7K number did come from somewhere, but anyways. Kevin with another $20 super chat says, saying maybe coincidence, maybe not, but your stream disappeared, couldn't refresh. and fine makes me think you're being targeted than the hater. Ah, I see what you're saying. Well, yeah, I don't think YouTube likes me very much, but I will say to YouTube's credit, since Trump came into office, they've kind of fallen into submission. I haven't been demonetized or attacked too much since that's happened. But okay, last thing before we move on to the segment, I did have something funny happen last week. Suddenly, I had a bunch of videos flagged for copyright violations. I was like, what is happening? What? And these are old videos. I'm talking videos I did a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, a year ago. And I was like, why? It was like 5 or 6 videos all of a sudden were flagged. And I was like, well, whatever. I don't care about those old ones too much, so I'll just clip them. Because YouTube gives you an option to go in and just clip the segment that's copyright so you can keep the rest of your video. So I was like, whatever, they're old. I'll cut it all out. So I went and cut them all out, and you know what it was? Every single segment, all those videos were segments I played from Tucker Carlson's show. So Tucker Carlson is doing a big attack right now on anybody. He got the copyright hunters to go after now anybody who is clipping his clips from his show to talk over them and go through them. That was very interesting to me. That was me finding out that Tucker is very angry that there's people calling him out on his stuff, because so I had to go through and I had to cut out his segment from like 5 or 6 of my videos. And again, granted, they were old, so not many people were watching them anymore. But I was like, okay, I see what you're doing there, Tucker. Somebody's close to something here, Tucker. That's a little of a fight. So, but yeah, Monica says copyright's an instant strike and too many will take your channel offline. I mean, they might have done that in the old days. I've never even gotten a strike from a copyright thing. The only time I've gotten one strike from YouTube ever, and it was when I was doing a live stream once, and in the live stream I was playing a lot of videos of like movies, and I got a couple like pauses during the live stream and warnings, but I just kept going, and they finally they gave me a strike. But that's only happened once in 3.5 years. And I play a lot of news clips. So it just goes to tell you, because news is almost always fair use. But Tucker, because it's his show, he can copyright strike you if he pushes it. And so I just go along, and then I don't get in trouble. Kevin with another $20 super chat says, I woke in 2015, so this shit ain't new, if you know what I mean. Oh, I know, man. And you know what? The truth is like it was much harder to find back then, though. And most people didn't wake up yet. But yeah, it's you're right, man. A lot of people have been awake for 10 plus years, but it's not a lot in the general population. Okay. It's a small fragment of the general population. But it's still like a large number of people, let's put it that way. But thank you again, Kevin, man. You're awesome. I appreciate you. All right. Okay. Everybody got after Tucker, which makes me happy. Okay, let's get into this, shall we? Right now, there is a preliminary hearing going on for the Tyler Robinson trial. Now, it's something I guess they do in Utah. It's not every state that does this, but it's basically a trial to have a trial to present evidence, see what's going to go forward, and then they decide, is it enough for a real trial? So that's what's happening right now. And this is what is, with everything being presented, it's driving the podcast sphere, the influencer group, the fake America Firsters, FAGA, as we like to call them. It is driving them bonkers because it's destroying their narratives. And one of the things coming out right here is, here's Andrew Colvett, who TPUSA says, video compilation of Tyler Robinson visiting UVU campus 4 times on September 10th. The last visit stretching in the early morning hours of 9/11 will be submitted as evidence broadcast to the media. And here's some of the video. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but here's some of it, watching him come on the campus and such.
Let's go ahead and put it on all screens. No, I appreciate it. Is so it is admitted and may be published to the screens. And Just want to make sure it's on your screen, Agent. All right. All right. Mr. Sturgill, you may proceed.
Appreciate that, Judge. Thank you. Go ahead. Okay, what are we seeing here, Agent Hall?
That's the vehicle that is believed to belong to Mr. Robinson arriving in the parking garage on campus.
At what time in the morning? What time of the day?
It's approximately 8:30 in the morning on September 10th, 2025.
And what leads you to believe that this particular vehicle belongs to Mr. Robinson?
Information that was provided regards to driver's license and Department of Motor Vehicle records. The vehicle fits the description of a vehicle owned by Mr. Robinson.
Is there anything unique about that vehicle that stands out to you?
The shape of the vehicle is very distinct, but predominantly the wheels were very distinctive on this version of the vehicle.
Now what do we see?
The driver of the vehicle exits the vehicle and then walks on foot to exit the parking garage.
So we have, and it goes on. I mean, there's different angles. Tyler Robinson, but just cited all over the place. And this is one of the big things that, people are trying to push, that he wasn't even there. But the evidence is overwhelming, and the evidence becomes more and more overwhelming of several things that people like Candace have been pushing on us. This is the kind of stuff they're pushing. The Patriotic Blonde says there's literally zero evidence this is Tyler Robinson. This hearing is a joke. But is it? As Quartering writes, not Tyler Robinson walking to and from his car on camera, not once, not twice, 3 times, and then again driving by the murder scene at 12:30 again that night. It's a Jewish body double. See, the insanity is that all the stuff going against the main narrative of this investigation is that there is no other counter evidence. And that's the problem we're facing. And it doesn't mean we shouldn't investigate. Again, I always get those retarded people who are like, well, you saying we shouldn't investigate? No, dummy. Of course we should investigate. Of course we should look into stuff. Absolutely. I want to know if Tyler Robinson was connected to a larger conspiracy. Of course we should know that. We need to know that. Of course. The problem is, all they do is constantly say the evidence isn't real, and then they have nothing else to back it up. It's nonstop, and this trial is really making it obvious. So here, Jack Posobiec puts out, Tyler Robinson was not a student. He was prowling around campus multiple times, changing outfits, even returning in the middle of the night. And Donald Trump Jr. says he magically, by the way, Donald Trump Jr., one of Charlie's best friends. You think Trump Jr. would have any incentive to go against discovering the truth for Charlie? That makes no sense. He magically developed a stiff leg after changing from shorts into baggy long pants while heading up to a rooftop, ideal vantage point to shoot from. We have all this on film, and the stiff leg is because he hid the gun in his pants. We see this now. Then magically, the limp disappears as he jumps from the rooftop with something resembling a wrapped rifle. Huh, that's interesting. Here is Donald Trump Jr. breaking down some of what they're seeing.
And how did the
it really is.
the prosecution's case sound to you in court?
Very strong, and the defense sounded very weak. The defense's only real tactic was seemingly to either stall or try to not admit essentially any evidence whatsoever, because I guess it would be too damning to their client. It was truly crazy. But you see the video. This is someone who lived 4.5 hours south, who importantly, and most people didn't know this, was not a student at Utah Valley University. He came up 4.5 hours away, very distinctly. I guess it was a Dodge Challenger in a car with very distinct rims. So they're able to identify the vehicle. They see him coming in early. He interacts with some Turning Point people, apparently asking them, what was happening here? Who were the speakers? What was the timing? Whatever that may have been, it seems. He then leaves, but he's wearing shorts and a T-shirt. He comes back wearing long pants with a limp that magically somehow developed. Is seen on video going up to this rooftop, which was the perfect vantage point to make, this shot. Then jumps off the building carrying a long object that looked like the shape of a gun, according to one of the witnesses, wrapped up in something. And there was a screwdriver left, which to me, leads me to believe that he walked up there with a limp and had disassembled the gun, put both the stock and the barreled action I guess, down his pants, walked up there, put the gun together. That takes 30 seconds. Made his shot. They saw evidence of the indents of where, there would have been a sniper's hide, the indents from his knees and elbows where he would have lain prone to make this shot. The shot happens, and within seconds, he's seen the limp has disappeared, and he's seen, jumping off the building and running into the nearby woods. Then there's ring cam footage of him pulling up again in this very distinct car at 12:30 a.m., again, on a university campus that he does not go to, lives 4 hours away. To me, that seems like he's there to retrieve the weapon that was stashed earlier in the day. Other minor details like, he turned himself in and these kinds of things. But
minor details.
It's just been very tough to watch. I haven't, frankly, opined, and I've taken a lot of heat from people because I haven't opined on a lot of the stuff that's been out there because I didn't know that any of it had any basis in fact. But once this hard evidence was laid out to me in a courtroom before my very eyes, and seeing the reaction of the defense, this thing is much more cut and dry than I would have ever even imagined.
I've got one more minute here.
Okay, so the evidence is coming in pretty overwhelmingly. Okay, and one of the things you could say is, and some people will say this, it's a little too easy. And maybe that's fair. However, in this case, it's not too easy because it's made up. People want to say like it's AI and stuff. No, it's when you get every single angle and there's evidence for it, whether it's video, the gun, all of it, when it all adds up, you have to look where it's pointing. The question we don't know is whether or not he acted alone, whether he had help, whether he's put up to it, whether he's MK Ultra, any of that stuff. We don't know. And I actually personally believe this guy didn't act alone in the sense, did he go there alone, shoot him alone? I do believe all that. I think that's most likely true based on what we're seeing. But was he put up to it? Did somebody get to him? Did he have handlers? Was he part of some indoctrination to push him in this direction? I do believe that's all very possible and probably true. Because there are some mighty big powers that had every reason to get rid of Charlie. And so that's not negotiable. And down the road, I do believe we need to figure that out. We need to find that out. I believe that. The problem right now, though, is that this is what's in front of us right now that needs to be dealt with. This is what we have right now. We need to figure this out. We need to get this part finished. And this is what Candace and all these people are hurting. They are, they could get to jurors because they might watch her show and they could taint a case where a man's not going to get justice because of people like them. Why muddy the waters so much? Why would you lie so much? Some people think Candace is just doing it for views. I don't think so. I think it's an operation, especially by the fact that so many people have continued to push these lies. When you have like Jack Posobiec just put this out, which is great. He says, calculate the odds Tyler Robinson not being Charlie Kirk's killer given the latest ballistics evidence. That's the gun, the bullet, all that. And all other new evidence in public record. And Grok put it out based on public record from the ongoing preliminary hearing, video places, ballistics, or inconclusive on damage with DNA, video, other evidence, make it overwhelmingly likely he's a killer. Odds he's not, near zero. And Jack continues, is there evidence there was another shooter? Tyler was set up. No credible proof of another shooter or setup. And that's what I was thinking. I think he acted alone that day. The question is what happened before. Some gave conflicting evidence, and another gun was found on campus that day. These details don't support alternative shooters or framing. Anyway, it's always interesting to see how AI processes it all. But the evidence coming out, because this is all public record now. So now we can study it. Now we can compare to what Candace Owens is saying or what she put out there, what Ian Carroll put out there, so on and so forth. We can keep doing that. We can now compare actual evidence, and that's a game changer. Right now, there's a towel he wrapped the gun in and a screwdriver he used to put it together. His on the towel, 95% Tyler Robinson's DNA. His boyfriend, girlfriend, trans friend, whatever, 5%. And then the screwdriver, 11%, 89%. That's pretty damning. Pretty damning. Here's a clip of this.
You testified about Exhibit 7 and 8, that they both had mixtures. Excuse me. Yes, items 7 and 8. In your testing of these items, that they both had mixtures. And you stated, I want to make sure I understood this. You stated, I believe, that the minor contributor was less than 20%, and that it was actually 5%. The ratio was 5% to 95%.
For one of the samples, yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Does that mean the 5% was from twigs, and the 95%, that 95% is assumed from the the Robinson?
When I calculated the statistic, Twiggs' DNA profile aligned with the 5% contributor, and Mr. Robinson's DNA profile aligned better with the 95% contributor.
Okay.
Wow. Fascinating stuff. And then there's this one going around. Candace claiming it's not Tyler Robinson in the videos. They're trying to push this like, I think this isn't Tyler. But Tyler Robinson's mom identified him. You know, that's a big deal. I'm sorry, but your parents, especially, like, this was supposedly a good family, like a conservative family. They're Mormons, which, you know, I have my disagreements with the Mormon faith. But I'll tell you that Mormon families generally tend to be very tight-knit, close families. They put a lot of emphasis on family. To think that his parents would be identifying him and turning him in, that just does not make sense. If he's not it, they would be fighting tooth and nail to prove that he is not guilty if they believed it. Now, here's a great reminder that these are the people defending for Charlie right now, like Ian Carroll, who 3 days before Charlie died, Charlie posts, "Jesus defeated death so you could live," and Ian Carroll replied, "You've dedicated your life to serving the people who killed him." That's Ian Carroll for you, folks. That's one of Candace's main people, who's now attacking Andrew Colvett over and joining Candace Owens in this attack on everybody, because they're going all out right now because of this trial, because it's making them look so stupid. And so they're pushing very hard right now to get the attention away and try to muddy the waters again. Here is one of the things they're pushing out there. Ian Carroll again. "Hey, bud, show me a screenshot of Tyler Robinson taking the shot." "Oh, you can't?" "Yeah, because that's not what the video showed at all. It showed an unidentified individual walking around. On the roof, it showed tiny whiff of pixels blowing in the breeze. Prosecution said the video did not show the shot." Okay, fine. Do we need the video of Ted Bundy killing his victims? Did you need the video of O.J. Simpson killing Nicole? I don't think so. It's so stupid. You understand how stupid these arguments are? It's insane. And this is to all this, you know, he lists all the video of what we're seeing, and so Ian's like trying to muddy the water. They're trying to find every little narrative they could still find to keep it going, because it's falling apart fast for them, guys. It's falling apart real fast for them. And look no further for proof that the podcasters know they're in big trouble than Megyn Kelly right now, completely trying to get in our good graces again.
It's been kind of crazy to watch Erica have to sit through this and have to deal with all of this. And I really, really wish that the people who have doubts about Erica Kirk would just keep them quiet this week. I mean, whether you like her or you don't like her, hopefully the human inside of you can see how difficult this is.
Whoa, Megyn had no problem supporting Candace before and taking the side of you know, the Israel's bad here. She had no problem doing that for a while. But you know what? Megyn, out of many of the people, including Tucker, Candace, Alex Jones, so on and so forth, she's taken one of the biggest hits in her viewership. And lately, Megyn is trying to make her way back. I predicted this would happen with some of them. And now watching it is pretty hilarious.
For her and the family to sit in there and have to listen to this and have to be feet away from Tyler Robinson, and then soon the videotape of the lover, and they're removing themselves for the most graphic pieces of the testimony, but they're hearing enough. This is going to be intensely upsetting. And every night Erica goes home to Charlie's 2 children who have no father and still has to struggle with helping them understand what happened to him. It's just beyond human what is being asked of the family. And I beg for you to keep them in your prayers.
What does this prove, by the way? This proves that Megyn Kelly knows they were wrong. She knows Candace Owens is full of crap. She knows it. And she's like, oh, crap. I went the wrong way here. I listened to the wrong people. I made the wrong decision. I chose the wrong side. This is admitting it. Because for Megyn Kelly to come out like this, so in such a public way, I mean, she's posting this clip. She's trying to get everybody's attention that she so much cares now about Erica, that this is her basically telling Candace Owens, like, I can't keep going with you. It's ruining my career. It's pretty pathetic. This is what defeat looks like.
Infuse them with strength, with some sort of serenity to get through this, with the ability to keep this in perspective. You know, as Erica said from the beginning, that the real judgment is going to come from God, not from this judge, not from the eventual jury. And that's really what Tyler Robinson should be.
Look at her face.
Thinking about each night.
It's very fake.
That's what should disturb his sleep night.
Crazy. Of course, Ami had to make fun of it. This is great. This is exactly why I bet it went down.
Shit.
That's exactly what it was. Which way do I go? What do I say? I'm stuck. So funny, man. Ami is the best. And Colvett put this out here. Me watching to see how Candace spins actual evidence in her next stream. Like, yeah. And you get what, guys? That's where we're at right now. And she's gonna spin it because she dug in. And whereas Megyn is trying to backtrack, Candace Owens is digging in harder, and this case is going to be the end of a lot for Candace. She's going to lose viewers over this. Many people are going to be woken up by this. There's going to be some people who still follow Candace. Don't get me wrong. They're going to dig in their heels and say, no, Candace is still right about this. And okay, fine. You know, those people, good luck with them. They're making their bed. But a lot of people who follow Candace, and I know I get some of them attacking me, I do believe some of them actually are just so worried about this going wrong. They're so black-pilled that they actually want some real answers. And once it becomes obvious, there's no other answer for this, and it was Tyler Robinson. She's going to have a big fall off. Plus, there's lawsuits pending against her, et cetera, et cetera. And I'll tell you what, if Candace goes down, Ian Carroll's not far behind. In fact, there's a lot of these grifter ones who've tied themselves to Candace. You know, Tucker will survive on his own. Alex will survive on his own. But Candace went all in on this. This is like what she's done her content on for half a year now, nonstop, attacking Charlie, and I say attacking Charlie because basically that's what she's doing, but attacking what he built, attacking Erica Kirk, telling everybody don't believe your eyes when you see evidence. That only can last for so long. And when you go all in like this, it's going to end very poorly for you. It's one thing to do a show on it, and one thing to do a couple of them, but when you go all in for 6 months, yeah, that's not going to look good. So we'll continue to cover it. We'll watch it. We'll laugh. And but this is me right now watching Candace Owens trying to do flips over all this. All right, guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Oh man, still got 2 more segments coming up. So, got itchy eye here. Very dry in my house for some reason. Don Julio says, I want that prick Stu Peters to suffer. Stu Peters is horrible. Kevin Huffman with the $20 super chat says, Robinson asked himself, is there a target? A single bullet can change the game. If Erica hadn't stepped up, it would have been devastating. Candace is Erica's Robinson. Candace is Eric's Robinson. I like that. Yeah, Candace is terrible, man. She's trying. It's like what she's doing to Erica Kirk is disgusting on so many levels. Katie's still at the Great State Fair and it's packed in DC. I love hearing that. So much for the lies of everybody saying that it's not, it's dead up there. And thank you, Katie, for the $2 super chat to support the channel. I thought I saw another one come in. Did I miss something? Yeah, Janet with the $10 super chat says, quote, he died defending a lot of people who since his death have revealed themselves to be even worse than the people Charlie was defending them against, had accused them of being. For Jeremy Boring. Very interesting quote, and I completely agree with it. Jeremy Boring's been interesting. I don't necessarily trust him all the time, Daily Wire guy, but man, if you got to ask me to trust him or Candace, I'm trusting him. So that's how bad things have gone for them. Okay. What am I missing in here? Violence says, odds that Candace starts alleging Charlie's parents were in on the killing are part of a cover-up. Oh, man. I mean, I don't know what the odds are, but she has no soul. So if she's basically alluded to his own wife being a part of it. So if she's willing to go there, probably not long till she tries to tie his parents in as well. Just crazy stuff. Thank you, Mark R. Very nice things you're saying. I appreciate it. All right. And I lost, unfortunately, YouTube cut off a bunch of chats. So that sucks. I can only go back so far. Beretta says, Candace was so deeply jealous of Erica, she completely lost her mind. She's now the Chatham House candidate. Chatham House has ties to Steve Bannon. So there's that. But I wouldn't doubt that you're right on that. Smokehouse with a $2 super chat says, can Erica sue Candace after his trial's over? She probably could. If she has, I don't think Erica wants to do stuff like that. Didn't she threaten it though? Not that long ago. I thought there was something like that. I can't remember. It's hard to prove a defamation case. It is. Because people like Candace, they can throw in the words allegedly. So it's unless you have like the smoking gun quote, it's very hard to prove a defamation case. But then again, sometimes the process is the punishment, and that's why Trump sues everybody. He knows a lot of those he won't win, but them having to pay for their defense, go through the discovery, go through all that, that's miserable. And so Trump sues everybody to punish them, to make them go through the process. And that's, Trump did say she should sue. I remember that at the, what was that? Was that the Valentine's Day lunch? Yeah. Crazy stuff. Okay. Well, we got lots more to do, guys. So again, tag super chats if you want your comment guaranteed to be read. Sleepy Trashman with a $5 super chat says, been a bit sick lately. Your streams make it bearable. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that. You guys are so nice. I really appreciate it. I have the best viewers, the best audience here. You guys are incredible. Your support means the world to me. And if I give anybody a better day at all by anything I do, that is well worth it. And I'll tell you, I don't just say that, and you can tell, I don't just say that, because I did this show. I've been doing it for 3.5 years. Okay. And I showed up every night 4 or 5 times a week for after I worked my full-time job, after I hung out with my family. And around 10 to midnight, 4 or 5 times a week, did an hour, 2-hour show for sometimes 50 people showing up. Sometimes, a lot of times there were around 100 for a while. Did that for a long time. And now it's amazing. I see 1,000 people watch my show, 800 watching right now. It's a whole different ball game. It's amazing. But always had amazing people, just being a part of this community. And that's why I kept coming back. So I'll tell you, I appreciate you telling me stuff like that, Sleepy, because it means the world to me that I can make one person's day better. And hopefully we all learn something while we're doing it. But I always like to have a little fun too. Let's see here. Diane asks, have I done anything to be blocked from the stream twice? Were you blocked from the stream twice? I think if you were blocked from the stream, you wouldn't be here. Roy Boy says, spent election night watching CK live stream, heard from him that Trump won. He was so happy. He was. Well, nobody other than Trump himself and the people in his campaign, nobody fought harder for Trump to win than Charlie Kirk. That's just a fact. Bobby says, I wish I'd found you 3 years ago. Way too much blackpilling over the last 3 years. It's been tough. I get it. It's tough. Rumdog says, I was there. Hey, it's always brother. Rumdog, you've been here for a long time. And I appreciate, Rum, you saying that. I've always brought the receipts. I try. I really do try. But, what is my biff with Bannon, Jaya? Bannon, I'll give you the short version. How about in the first term that Trump fired Bannon for leaking to the press and called him Sloppy Steve, and since then Bannon's never been back in the administration? How about the fact that Bannon has in the Epstein files more than anybody else? He texted Epstein. More texts have been released from Bannon than even Bill Gates. Over 2,000 texts back and forth with Epstein, trying to undermine Donald Trump, trying to get Bolton in his cabinet, trying to ruin Trump's first term. That's just facts. I know. I've seen the files. I've gone through them. I've done videos on them. So what's my beef with Bannon? How about the fact that all his people, like Rich Barris and Robert Barnes and there's several of them, Raheem Kassam, have come out and when Trump does something like the Iran war, completely turn on Trump, completely blackpill all of us. How about that fact? I have a lot of issues with Bannon. Does that mean all of his guests are bad? No. Does that mean everything he's ever said is wrong? No. He knows if he completely turned against Trump, he'd lose his whole audience. He's not stupid. But do I believe Bannon is running a grift? How about the fact that he took all that money for the wall fund and he kept it? How about that? Yeah, Bannon is not a good person. He is not a good person. I'm sorry. And that's fine. You can go watch War Room, and guess what? You'd be joining 100,000 people who are watching War Room more than my show. So obviously I don't care about the views compared to Bannon. I'm not trying to buddy up with these people to get more viewers. I'm just going to tell you how I see it. And if it turns out I'm wrong, okay, I'll be wrong. I'm happy to be wrong about Bannon. I'm happy to be wrong about any of these people because I want more of us on the same side. I want good people getting millions of views. I want that. But I'm sorry. I look for the facts. I look for the evidence. I look for what's actually helping Trump and helping our movement. And I'm sorry, but from Bannon, I see many, many, many reasons I cannot trust him. And a lot of blackpilling came from his network in the last year and a half. So sorry. It's just the facts. I just can't, I can't trust anybody who's in the Epstein files talking with Jeffrey Epstein about how to destroy Donald Trump. How can I trust somebody like that? So I don't, you ask me why I don't trust Bannon. There you go. And that's all, so the War Room crowd, I used to listen to War Room. Okay. In fact, I used to listen to all these people. I listened to Bannon. I used to listen to Alex Jones. I really liked Tucker for a while. I liked Megyn Kelly. I was in with all of them. I thought they were helping me out. And again, these people, when they're building their trust with us, these grifter types, they give you 80 to 90, 95% of things that are good. So you trust them and you're like, yeah, you're right about this. You're right about this. It's the 5 to 10% that matters, because those are the times when the movement needs you the most. That's when it gets most critical, and that's where they always fail. And there's a reason for that. That's because they know what they're doing. They want us all to give up. One of the many with the $20 super chat, thank you very much, friend, says, I'm glad it took a while to find this show because it gave me a lot of time personally researching, forming my own opinions rather than adopt someone else's views. Now Ace can do the work for me and make it fun, not stressful. Well, I'm glad I can do the work for you, brother. No, but everybody should find out. Listen, there is nothing I put out there that I would ever say, don't trust anybody else on this. Go find it. Go trust everybody else. Challenge every single thing I say. Challenge it. Challenge every receipt I bring you. Go find the real evidence. Please do so and bring it back to me and say, look what I found. I want that. I want to grow. If you have something better, go for it. But if all you bring me is a narrative and all you think is your narrative is right over my narrative, over what I'm presenting, that's not going to work. I don't take that seriously, and I'm never going to give it the time of day. Because I've been following narratives my whole life, and I've found how to break them. And I've found that most of them aren't true. The only narratives I present are narratives that are backed up by evidence. Sometimes that evidence might be misleading. Sometimes I don't have all the evidence. So I can be wrong. But I don't create narratives just because I want to believe something. I follow what I believe is the truth. And I'll always do that. And that's why I grow slow. That's because I'm not just out there trying to get viewers. That's why people who do watch me stick with me for 3.5 years and say I haven't changed, even when my channel is bigger now. It's because I'm honest. And so please, if you disagree with me, bring receipts. I will look at receipts. But if you just tell me I'm wrong, or if you just tell me I'm stupid, and I'm completely off base, I'm not going to listen to you. That's not a serious argument. Kevin with the $2 super chat says Bannon sucks. I love it, man. Motley Crue with the $20 super chat says Sloppy Steve Badman is a sleazy slithering snake in the grass. Wow, say that 10 times fast. Sleazy slithering snake. I like it. Thank you, Motley. Appreciate you. Let's see. Bannon, the Epstein suck-up who was talking to him while POTUS was still president in 2017. That Bannon, the guy who flip-flops when his Griff needs him to. That guy. Yeah, that guy. Freenet says, regarding Bannon, I think it says a lot about a person, the way they present themselves in public. He shows he has a little respect. He's not everything. It's a signal to know with people. I mean, Bannon looks bad right now too, man. He's just getting fatter and sloppier, and it's rough. It's rough. I don't know if Bannon's a commie, but I definitely think he's got connections at Chatham House. So he's got connections to that City of London system, which is very communistic. Michael says Bannon's infinitely more dangerous than Tucker, Jones, or MTG combined. I don't know if he's more dangerous anymore, except for the fact where I'll agree with you is that he does still have more trust in the MAGA base. And it's because Bannon's very smart. Bannon is brilliant, man. He knows what he's doing. He knows you cannot challenge Trump face on, because if he does, he'll lose his group, because MAGA has proven it's more loyal to Trump than anybody else. So if he crosses Trump in front, that's why he lets his people do it. And what Bannon will do to undercut Trump, he'll say stuff like, President Trump, you're listening to the wrong people. President Trump's got really bad consultants in there right now. President Trump is, you can't be following these people. Mr. Trump, how's he say? He's like, you're a patriot, but he always has like a way of making Trump look like he's not in charge when he wants to, or he's listening, or he's making bad decisions because of he never makes it Trump's fault directly. Let me put it that way. He always undercuts him. Kevin with another $20 super chat. Man, Kevin, you got lots to say today. I appreciate it, man. Says, truth is like a lion, set free, will defend itself. Amen, man. Amen. I love it. Starchild says, I can't believe so-called MAGA people still go on ban and show after the Epstein emails came out. Well, a couple of things on that, and then we'll move on. But they love the attention. Okay, that's number one. Number two, a lot of them are grifting with Bannon. They're in on it, like Posobiec. And then a lot of them, here was the tell. Let me put it this way. Here's one of the big tells about Bannon. When all that came out from the files, from the address it. They refuse to go there. And here, I'll show you guys something. I did several videos on Bannon and Epstein. Where are they? Am I in the wrong? I might be in the wrong. Oh no, here we go. Yeah, so Bannon. There's Bannon's picture in here. Bannon. I mean, I went through so many of his emails, breaking it all down. This is my Epstein playlist where I've done, you guys can see it. I've done a lot of content on Epstein. And Bannon was in a lot of it. He's in a lot of it. And I'll tell you what, he never responded. Part of the reason I did so much on Bannon and Epstein was I was hoping that there would be a response. I was hoping somebody would come out and that Steve Bannon would come out. And I even said this on my show back then. I'd be like, Steve, please come out and tell me all the stuff about, why you were talking to Epstein. Were you undercover? Were you trying to just learn from him? Were you setting it up? Like, show us some receipts and all that, but they never could. And that was a big tell that he wouldn't address it, because it would have been easy for him to prove that it wasn't a big deal, that he was like trying to catch Epstein in something or get information from him, but he didn't. Sven with the $5 super chat says Tucker copyright trolling is about stopping Milk Bar and the flip flop mashups more than anything else. Oh, I'm sure that's a big part of it, so. Yeah, you can't defend the indefensible. That's exactly right. So it was bad, man. Teresa says, I consumed Bannon for 6 years until this past year and a half. His true colors kept popping through. I finally saw him for what he is. Yeah, I agree with you. Maka says, I covered the fact Trump turned in Epstein and it turned out to be true. Mighty awesomeness. I did. I called it last summer. You just gotta, you do the work, and it's not that hard to find the stuff if you know what you're looking for. But yeah, Sven, back to your super chat. Tucker is scared. He's scared. All these people are scared because the grift is ending for him. There's too many people who now actually do the work and call them out and show what how fake it all is. I'm not the only one doing what I do. Let me put it that way. Kevin with the $20 super chat says, been blackpilled hard, then God showed me his victory. Do you know you're a gift from God to some of us? Oh man, thank you. That means a lot to me, brother. That means the world. If anybody sees me that way, that's a huge blessing. Scheimler with the $10 super chat says, I knew Trump was innocent in the Epstein stuff when all the mainstream media started saying he was in the files before the files were released. Oh, 100%. I'll tell you this, that last summer when the Epstein stuff first started, my viewers, who were not that many back then, but the ones that were here, they'll tell you, I told everybody that it was going to blow up in the Democrats' face. It was going to be a rug pull. And it did. It really was. So, I mean, not everything I thought would happen happen. It's impossible to predict everything. But I knew the Epstein stuff was going to be bad for them. I really did. Benny Johnson did get busted for plagiarizing. That's true. I can't speak to him now, but in the old days, he got busted for stealing content all the time. Yeah, awesome threads. Okay, we got to get into it. I still got 2 segments, man. I've only done 2 segments in 2 hours, but thank you guys for the support. You guys are amazing. And again, please, I will get back in the chat after the segment. We'll catch up, okay, and go through stuff. But all right. So yesterday, final nail in the coffin came for Graham Plattner, and it's believed he's going to drop out now, even though he was talking big. This is a massive blow to the Democrats. As I covered yesterday, I showed all them freaking out that they had supported him, and now they were turning on it. It was really falling apart for them quick. But now it's out. The pressure campaign has worked, and Graham Plattner is working to navigate his exit from the main Senate race now. He's expected to announce his decision, but as of this morning, message has not been taped. This is really bad news for the Democrats and the DSA, the commies. This is one of their candidates, the DSA guys. What this is going to do, it's going to send a shockwave through the Democratic Party to these commies who are trying to take over their party, who succeeded in New York and Colorado. This is sending a shockwave to them that the Democrats saying, you guys don't matter. We don't care about you, but please still vote for us. They did this when they stole it from Bernie Sanders in 2016 and in 2020. And now they're doing it all over again. These people are done. They're done playing the game. They keep getting dragged in. And but this is good. I mean, the scandals with this guy are just crazy. They keep coming out. Another bombshell just dropped. One day after being accused of rape, Plattner's ex-girlfriend claims he was secretly removing condoms during sex after she explicitly told him to keep them on. This is gross stuff, man. This guy is really... He's just a disgusting human being. But again, the Democrats didn't care. They didn't care until it was so much and they started going down the polls. That tells you all you need to know about who the Democrats are. Now, here's a very funny compilation that Fox News ran showing the Democrat script for apologizing. This is hilarious, man. Swalwell, he's gone, and now they gave Plattner the same script.
That you see and hear from me directly.
I wanted to directly address the troubling, serious, and false allegations against me.
These allegations of sexual assault are flat false.
Any accusation of non-consensual behavior is categorically false.
I'm going to spend time with my family and friends, and I appreciate those who have reached out to me to show support.
We are taking the time to reflect on the best path forward for the state that I love, the people that I love.
You know, they kind of change a couple words here, but it's the exact same pacing. Everything's the same. So again, they're in trouble. They're in big trouble because even if they replace him now with a more moderate candidate, somebody more appealing to the middle, I'll tell you what, they're going to lose their most hardcore supporters over this. And so this is only going to make the Democrat Civil War worse. You know, everybody who is a good general in war knows sometimes you cut your losses because you're fighting for the win in the long term, not the short term. Well, the Democrats are so desperate right now, so desperate to win this midterm that they're willing to sacrifice their future, because by cutting off the DSA, the commies in their base, which is like 20%, 30% of their base, they're weakening themselves in the future because those people will burn it all to the ground. But just, you know, more evidence of their freak out, their panic here. Chris Murphy just scrubbed his X account of all mentions of Graham Plattner in hopes no one will remember he was a diehard early supporter. This is what they're doing now. They're starting to scrub their accounts, clear them out. Don't. We don't want you being able to prove that we supported him. Don't do that. But, you know, surprisingly, Marjorie Taylor Greene, of all people, while the Democrats are bailing on Plattner, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the America Firster, the true MAGA, she's out there now supporting Graham Plattner. What? This kind of tells you where all this is coming from, right? The phagosphere, the America Firsters, and the DSA. Isn't it funny how the most hardcore squad leftist liberals, the DSA types, the socialists, the true commies, like Jamila Priapal, Ilhan Omar, AOC, they were all funding the same people as they were getting funded by the same people as Thomas Massey. Isn't that funny? And Marjorie Taylor Greene kind of tells you that there's a psyop going on from both ends, because now she's supporting this guy. Listen to this.
That you tweeted yesterday that you kept up. You seem to imply that AIPAC might be
back on The View, by the way. Marjorie, she goes wherever she can make that money, man. This woman has no principles whatsoever.
involved with the latest allegations of sexual assault by Graham Plattner.
Tell them what
criticism
AIPAC
of AIPAC
Can you
is
tell them what AIPAC
the American Israel Public Affairs Committee.
Okay.
Well, criticism of AIPAC is perfectly legitimate political discourse. Do you not understand that this plays into anti-Semitic tropes about Jews controlling things, about Jews and money and power and politics? What do you even mean by that?
Well, what I mean by that is it's unfortunate that rich donors that put Israel first are playing in American politics.
Well,
Just like my
AIPAC
friend
is
Thomas
American
Massey.
donors, to be clear. It's Americans who care about the U.S.
No. They care about Israel first. Israel's committing genocide.
You do know that under federal law, only American citizens can contribute to AIPAC.
Let me tell you, the future of this country is Americans are sick and tired of funding Israel's genocidal wars that are killing children.
Millions of Americans,
in Gaza
including me, support
and Lebanon.
Israel, for the record. That may be your
I don't
position.
support the government of Israel. I support people. And I support Americans, and I support our
Jews.
tax dollars being used for our
Jews.
purposes.
You see how this
However, AIPAC took out one of my good friends, Thomas Massey, okay? And Thomas Massey worked for his district.
Thomas
AIPAC
Massey
also
lost
worked
because
against
Donald Trump
me.
endorsed against Thomas Massey.
Thomas
to be clear,
Massey
you're going to blame
lost
AIPAC
Miriam
now?
Adelson.
Because it feels like blaming
Miriam
the Jews.
Adelson put
It feels like you're blaming the Jews.
No, I'm blaming donors that put Israel first over America. And this is
American donors who support
She is
Israel.
such an evil woman. She is such an evil woman, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Unbelievable. That whole AIPAC thing that beat Thomas Massey, like, if you're popular, I mean, I don't have to say it. I've already proven it many times on my show. But money doesn't win elections. It doesn't. It can prove a tipping point if it's close. It can help. Don't get me wrong, but it does not win elections. If you're popular, it doesn't matter. You know how I know this? Donald Trump won being outfunded 2 and 3 times against Clinton, and then by 2. And then against Kamala. Kamala had way more money than Trump. So did Clinton. Elections aren't won by money. And by the way, Galrain only spent like $4 million more than Massey in a very expensive overall race. And he won by 10 points. That's so stupid. The whole AIPAC wins. But there she is out there. The Jews. Yeah, so Marjorie's like, oh, if you're funded by Israel, you know I got a gorilla face. Don't, we're not talking about that right now. If you're funded by Israel, I don't care if you're a communist, you're better than that person because Israel needs to go down. I want commies. Give me a commie over Israel any day because I'm America first. I'm America first, retard. That's, that's basically MTG in a nutshell. Now, with Plattner out, here's what the Democrats are planning on doing, and this is going to go over real well.
Hi, everyone. I wanted to provide you all an update on the U.S. Senate race here in Maine. As you know, the Maine Democratic Party has been working around the clock to develop a process to replace our U.S. Senate nominee that is open, inclusive, transparent, and fair. The integrity of this process is just as important as the outcome, and we are committed to ensuring that Democrats across our state can have confidence in both. Unfortunately, Graham Plattner's team has repeatedly reached out to us.
First of all, she says, we're going to be transparent in the process of selecting the replacement, but she doesn't say we're going to let you vote on that. Okay, that's the key right there. So she's trying to make it sound like we're on your side, but guess what, Democrats? Your democracy candidates, you guys don't get democracy. You guys don't get democracy in the Democratic Party. They choose your candidates for you, except for when the commies fight back just hard enough to take over. But this is more proof that you don't get democracy in the Democratic Party very much, as they're about to take it over. And now she's going to talk to his supporters.
In an attempt to put their thumb on the scale of what this process looks like, we have repeatedly reiterated to Graham Plattner's team that they have no role in determining our next Democratic nominee for the U.S. Senate.
Did you just hear what she said? She just told the people who voted for Plattner, who, look, I'm no fan of them. They're all commies. But she just told them that you guys get no part in selecting our next person. Why? Because you picked wrong the first time. Uh-oh. Democrats, we can't trust you for your votes.
Or in determining what this process looks like. We have also reiterated that Graham Plattner must drop out of this race so that Democrats in Maine can focus on defeating Susan Collins this November. We look forward to making this process public as soon as Graham Plattner formally withdraws from this race.
The public selection is going to be, here's who we chose. Eat it. This is going real well for them. As Seth Ketchel writes, summary, we will show how democratic we are when we invalidate the primary all you rubes voted in last month. That's how it goes there. So there you go, guys. Things are great in the Democratic Party right now. They're really doing well before the midterms. This is great news for them. Oh, and we got even better news for them as Trump Florida federal judge just overruled activist Judge Sparkle Suknanen. Imagine going into your court case and it's like, I am Judge Sparkle Suknanen. You're going to really take that serious, huh? Reinstates the SAVE system, letting Trump's team root out illegal aliens trying to vote in elections. There you go. Judge Kent Weatherall of Florida confirmed it. Reinstate plaintiffs' access to the bulk upload and Social Security number search features in the SAVE system. He called out Suknanen's ruling, saying SAVE systems do not violate the law. There you go, baby. A big win for us. Looking ahead now that they can read and invalidate voters, whether they're legit or not. And then we got another massive win in court. Arizona Supreme Court victory for Justin Keep, Office of Maricopa County Recorder. Here it is. Arizona's highest court just kicked the wholly corrupt Board of Supervisors in the teeth. This 100% puts their election fraud machine in jeopardy since Recorder Heap isn't one of theirs, but will now take point on administering elections as per rule of law. Imagine that. Decision lifts appellate stay, confirms mandatory funding for Recorder's office, restores control over IT systems and staff, and approves Heap's election administration plan, including early voting sites and ballot drop boxes. Boom, baby. You clear out. Listen, if Maricopa becomes fair, Arizona is no longer question mark. Arizona goes full red in everything. If Maricopa is cleaned up, that's the one county that makes Arizona purple through its fraud. Just like in Georgia, the one county that makes Georgia purple through fraud is Fulton. You fix these counties, you fix the entire state. Maricopa is on its way. Now, things continue to heat up. Developing, I'm told, Special Prosecutor DeGenova's team has obtained startling new evidence exposing 2016 election interference by non-Russian foreign entities, including Ukraine and the UK. DeGenova has onboarded a federal investigator in his office to focus on Ukraine. Interesting. Coming out. This is interesting, though. Ukraine and the UK. Oh, UK, City of London interfered in the 2016 election? Oh! Remember, it was the Five Eyes who put together the report, the Steele dossier? Yeah, Five Eyes. New Zealand, Australia, Canada, UK, and US. The Commonwealth. Huh. Commonwealth plus US, which was a shadow Commonwealth for a long time. Not no longer, but, wow, that's interesting. Huh. What if the election fraud comes out and totally exposes City of London system? Oh, buddy, that's exciting. Exciting stuff. DOJ came out today, says puts election officials on notice. Top officials in all states can be criminally prosecuted, not civilly, but criminally, by allowing non-citizens to vote. This is the pressure campaign. So the Trump administration clearly knows that getting the SAVE Act through is going to be tough in our current establishment-controlled Republican Party Senate. It's going to be tough. Might not be impossible. It still could happen, although the odds are very low. But in the meantime, you put the pressure on. Now, for those who forgot, in 2024, we won. If you forgot, we didn't just win the presidency, we won the House and the Senate. And we won all 7 swing states. And that is in a rigged election. It was too big to rig. We overwhelmed the system. And part of the reason we were able to overwhelm the system is because the RNC under Lara Trump launched lawsuits and put 1,000 lawyers out at voting booths, voting locations in order to monitor and make sure it's safe. So they did what they could to limit the rigging while overwhelming the system, and we won handily. That was with Joe Biden in control. That was with Democrats in control of the Senate. You understand? Like, they had everything on their side at that point. Now, the Trump administration wields the justice system. Wields it. Has all that on in its power. Along with the fact our states are more red. There's been many voting laws passed. But yeah, there's still going to be rigging in blue states for sure, in some red counties like Fulton and Maricopa, although maybe not Maricopa anymore. Here's the point, is that when we won all that with them in power, and now the Trump administration is putting out a full court press. Remember, I read the other day, 160 lawsuits already filed by the Trump administration against for election integrity in several states. And now they're putting it out there. You'll be criminally prosecuted if we catch you. Folks, this is going to scare a lot of people from helping in the rigging. This is going to limit the rigging. Will it stop it? No, but it'll limit it more than it was limited in 2024. So just know, like, we have a lot of hope, and the Trump administration is doing everything they can to put it out there. So if we show up and vote, we're going to win. And that's what I want to keep hammering home. This is good news. The Trump administration is not just sitting back, twiddling their thumbs, waiting to see what happens in the elections. They're playing offense right now. And that should make you all very happy. Spencer Pratt. Oh yeah, guess what? He was just at the White House with Trump. Here's a picture of him meeting with Trump. Spencer Pratt, the guy who just got robbed in California, the guy who is seeing California from the inside, how it works. Meeting with President Trump. That's interesting. What are they talking about? What are they planning? What is he helping Trump figure out? Or was Trump summoning him to give him a job? I don't know, but his anti-communist stuff has been excellent. And that is obviously the tactic we're using going into the midterms, is calling out the communism. So something's going to come out of this. And I'm excited to see where it goes. Now, Scott Jennings put this out today, or yesterday, I should say. I don't know what to make of this. I'll be honest with you. I generally like Scott, but this is concerning. He said, I spoke to my old friend Mitch McConnell this morning, the senior senator from Kentucky. He's still recovering in the hospital. We talked for just shy of 20 minutes about Iran, Ukraine, unfolding situation in Maine, my visit to the presidential library, and even a little bit of Senate history. I told him we want to see him back at work as soon as possible. I don't know what to make of this. Scott, what are you doing? You're not one of us if you're in with McConnell. So is this a tell on Scott, or is something else going on? I don't know. But we're hearing from Laura Loomer that he's brain dead. His organs are failing. He's basically dead. That's what we're hearing from Laura Loomer. Scott Jennings is now out there saying, I'm talking to Mitch McConnell. Is this part of grift? Is this part of an operation to keep McConnell in the Senate so that they can wheel him in and pretend he's better than not? This is exactly what they're saying. I don't know. We'll find out. But I'm now very curious to see when McConnell comes out if he can actually speak or anything. But this is something to very much follow heading into the and I know some think he's trolling. I thought maybe he's trolling, but this isn't funny. If you're trolling, you say something funny. But he's been getting trolled after this nonstop on X as people keep writing. I spoke to Mitch McConnell, and they're the most ridiculous things. It's very funny. But leading up to the midterms, regardless of what's going on with McConnell, we're starting to see more and more Trump's policies starting to come into effect in good ways. And here's one of the latest on the energy production, especially natural gas. To understand how much the American energy landscape has changed since Trump took office, look no further than the latest predictions from U.S. Energy Information Administration. At the start of 25, EIA predicted 23 gigawatts of new gas plant capacity would be built between 26 and 2030. The agency's new forecast is 66 gigawatts. Triple! Holy smokes, guys. That's a massive jump. A massive jump. So triple expectations for the growth in natural gas and energy. You know what that's going to do to our energy supply, guys? Our gas bills, our electric bills plummet. Heating is going to get so much cheaper. All this is starting to, it's going to affect before the midterms. It's already happening. So that's very good. And as you can see, it remains very close. Now this is YouGov, very leftist pollster. They can't even get this to be further than 3 points. And you can tell it's a leftist pollster because look what they did with Trump's approval, 35. So you're telling me that Trump's approval is 35 and yet Republicans are only 3 behind the Democrats? Okay. Whatevs. Not buying it. But I will tell you that this tells me they can't rig it enough. By the way, the Democrats need to be ahead by at least 5 to win the House. That's because of the built-in infrastructure Republicans have right now. So this was a loss for Democrats if this holds. Oh, and here, Morning Consult, another leftist, pretty leftist pollster, 24,000 registered voters polled. That's a massive sample size. And they have Democrats going down, Republicans at 42. Still only 3 points separating them. Ooh, that's gotta hurt. It's very bad, very, very bad news for the Democrats looking ahead. So, guys, I'm telling you, the midterms, we show up and vote. I truly think we got this. We do. Not to be cocky, but I am confident. And you know, we only 4 months now. So I'll be covering this more and more as we get going. But right now, I think 70% chance we win the House, 95% chance the Senate. I'm feeling better about it every day. Okay, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Appreciate you guys watching. We do have one more section coming up, but I got to get into the chat because I did see some peeps trying to hit me up here. We got GDA with a $2 super chat and then a $10 super chat. Says this Jew supports you. I know it's not 7K, but I find your content refreshing. Honestly refreshing. Enjoy your integrity. Thank you, GDA. GDA the Jew. I appreciate you, man, or woman. And you're right, it's not my 7K check, but that clears tomorrow, and I don't have to worry about it. You know, it's pretty consistent. But I thank you for your super chat. Thank you so much. Molly Crew with a $5 super chat says, Maggot, Marjorie, Manly, Taylor Greene is Vantestite. YouTube doesn't allow the proper term. That's hilarious. I love how you put that together. You know, but I can read it, right? I can read it as Maggot, Marjorie, Manly, Taylor Greene is a transvestite. There you go. I read it for you. And we'll see what YouTube does with that. But thank you for the super chat as always. Monica says voters in Democratic Party are angry at betrayal. Suppression will be staggering. I agree. 100%. Dave Ricard says Oregon's determined by one county also. Judicial Watch sued Oregon to remove 800,000 names for the voter rolls. I know. I don't have hope that Oregon's going to be red anytime soon, but Seth Keshel just put out a registration report on Oregon and said that he wouldn't be surprised if in the next 5 years some of those really big races start getting in the margin of error, which means it could be getting closer and closer to Oregon getting some red in it, which would be awesome. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's see here. Trump needs to speak to Mitch at this point. I mean, Trump doesn't seem to care too much. Isn't that interesting? Franny says there was a case where Bernie Sanders donators sued the DNC, and in that case, DNC said they're a private organization, can pick who they want. I know, they're so evil. They're so evil. Lisa says they want to keep Mitch in place till August 3rd, so not enough time to get a replacement. I know. They truly do. They're trying to wait it out. They want to keep Mitch in until January because he's already leaving, and they're just going to fight. They're going to fight to keep him in as long as they can because they're pathetic and they hate everything that Trump's trying to do in his voters. So, you know, it is what it is. Let's see. YouTube glitched out on you, Freenez? Oh man, I'm sorry, but I'm glad you were able to come back in. Okay. Let's get into this last thing because it's shorter. And after I do this next segment, I'll come into the chat for a bit before I got to go. Okay, I have to go by... I got 27 minutes till I have to go today. All right. I want to talk about this this move coming on the justice side of things. And whenever I say the justice side of things, I mean arrest and accountability. Okay, because this is one of the main things we voted for, right? Is accountability. Well, I tell you what, the Trump administration is ramping things up in the accountability department. And we're starting to get, and I don't think this is accidental, we're starting to get more trickling out of Seth Rich. This is getting back into the public sphere. So much so that yesterday, Tim Burchett put out a press office release saying, today I sent a letter to Kash Patel asking for the release of all records related to the death of Seth Rich. Oh, baby. This is going to be really fun if this comes out because Seth Rich, the mystery there unlocks a lot. So here's a little bit of Seth Rich from MJ Truth Ultra putting it together. It says, in April 2018, Q alluded to the idea Seth Rich was a victim of a targeted professional hit by MS-13 assets sanctioned by the CIA. Two names to remember, Rafael Aguilar, Carmelo Marmolejeo Calixto. Q asked who was found dead after his murder. Both were found shot to death in Myrtle Beach the day after his death. No leads, no suspects cold. Oh, that sounds like a deep state operation. These two individuals were the hired guns. MS-13, thanks to Barack Hussein Obama's lax border policies, instructed Homeland Security, HS, and Border Patrol to release captured MS-13 members who had ties between a U.S. agency and major drug cartels. Whoa. CIA has been involved in drug trafficking operations dating back to the Korean conflict. They protected the Afghan poppy fields as a major funding resource. Under Obama, they were aiding the drug trafficking operations of Sinaloa cartel as a counterbalance to the Los Zetas cartel's likely power grab of Mexico's national government, partially paying Sinaloa with fast and furious weapons. Julian Assange, Ukraine, CrowdStrike, Obama, Hillary, Russia. This is why Seth Rich case has been sealed tight. Oh, mama. Can you imagine what's going to be unlocked here? So much is coming, guys. We have the Seth Rich stuff. We have Trump trying to get the uranium from Iran to prove the Uranium One deal. It's all coming out, baby. It's all coming out. It's just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. And we're going to find out a lot of stuff. It's going to wake up a lot of people. I'll tell you that right now. Now, Kash Patel, to his credit, continues to do a lot on their end. This one's very interesting. 113 active spies from foreign countries have been arrested. That's crazy. And this is going to go under the radar unreported. Counterintelligence arrests have jumped 53%. Kash is telling us something here. He's telling us about an operation going on. 4,800 cartel arrests. 850 active plotters stopped. You guys want to know why we haven't seen any cells activated here in the U.S.? Any big terrorist attacks while this has been going on? When Trump administration's in charge? It's because of that. Despite what they're doing globally, fighting back, City of London, the cartels, Iran. That's why. Because the FBI has been empowered to go knock it all back. 77% surge in cyber indictments. That's wild. Here's a little video they put together for it.
There's a war for our national security, and the FBI is leading the charge. By tearing down red tape and standing up a fierce defense, they're mounting an impenetrable wall against our adversaries. They've neutralized 113 active spies, and counterintelligence arrests jumped 53%. Just think about that. 53%. It means our tech stays home and our defense secrets stay locked down. But the FBI didn't stop there. They forced 62 removals of Chinese spies in 2026 alone. That historic 933% increase completely shattered Beijing's deep cover operations. And we've stopped.
Did you hear that? 933% increase completely shut down Beijing's counter operations. What did I tell you guys? We talked about this a couple weeks ago of how the Chinese, the Russians, they were infiltrating our government too, but they were doing it when we were a City of London controlled government, whether it was Obama, Bush, Clinton, Biden, you name it. The deep state was controlling our government. So they were infiltrating during that time. They were allowed to infiltrate. Because you notice right here, this rise of taking them out, that could have been done at any time. So as I tell you, they didn't do it on purpose. They were letting our government be subverted. This was all part of the plan to let us fall apart. And now we're weeding it all out.
Deep cover operations, and we've stopped playing games with cartels, finally targeting them as the foreign terrorists they are. This shift's led to 4,800 arrests and stopped over 850 active plotters before they could strike. Hundreds of terrible disasters stopped cold. There are also
hundreds of terrible disasters stopped cold. Whoa. Remember what they said? We couldn't attack Iran because all the sleeper cells would be attacking us. We had to be very careful, watch out for the terrorist attacks. We're finding out that they're stopping them all, and they're getting ahead of it.
Dominating the digital front, with a 77% surge in cyber indictments and 32 enterprise dismantlements. That means the hospitals your family relies on, the banks holding your savings, and the local power grids keeping your lights on are completely locked down and defended.
That's huge. Do you hear that? What is one of the things we're constantly told by the doomers, by the black pillars? Oh, they're going to attack the grid. They're going to attack the grid, take out the power. We'll go back to the Stone Age. This is what they can do. Alex Jones always told us about how bad it's going to get if we keep going this way. They just said they got all the grids locked down. Oh, man.
People can argue all they want, but the numbers don't lie. With the FBI leading...
That was a shot to Steve Bannon, who last week said, Cash, I don't care about your numbers. I want names. And then he just said, the numbers don't lie.
The charge, our country is safer than ever.
Great stuff. Man, the social media teams are so good here. But those are big stuff. That's big deals, folks. That's real justice. It's happening. You see, if they had come in and said we went after all the big names first, Clinton, Obama, Bill Gates, whatever, you go after all those people first, well, they can unleash the hounds, terror cells, false flags, you name it, like crashing stuff, taking out. My dogs are going nuts. Sorry, guys. They could unleash all that, but we're taking them out from the bottom up, and that's how you keep the people safe. It's amazing stuff. So while they're doing this, the fraud, the fixing the fraud in America is starting to be cleaned up as well. And look at this story that just came out from the Washington Post. In just Arizona, 1 year after President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill tightened eligibility for food aid, number of Arizonans on food stamps plummeted by half. Half the people didn't even need to be on it. A loss of nearly 500,000 people. That's amazing. Get back to work. How many of those were illegals? This is in Arizona. I'm sure a bunch of them were. This is the cleanup of America. Amazing stuff. Love it. And then on top of that, all this fraud stuff is also starting to take out the H-1B program. And listen to this latest investigation into our H-1B program.
Ranging government-wide anti-fraud effort, the Labor Department's Inspector General Anthony D'Esposito now leading a major investigation into H-1B and perm employment visas, as well as potential human trafficking cases. Joining me now, the man leading the investigation, U.S. Department of Labor Inspector General Anthony D'Esposito. Inspector General, great to have you. Welcome.
Great to be with you, Maria. Thanks for having me.
Well, this sounds very serious. Tell us about your investigation. Are you saying that there is fraud and human trafficking within the H-1 visa program and the program that is the Program Electronic Review Management, or PERM system?
Without a doubt, and we are going to take an aggressive action, what we believe is probably the most aggressive action against foreign labor fraud by an inspector general this administration. We've already started to issue dozens of subpoenas. We are going to make sure that we track down every lead. We have whistleblowers talking about some of the biggest companies like Cognizant who have been in chatter of issues with perm and H-1B visas, and we are going to work side by side with the president and vice president's fraud task force to exhaust every lead. I'm going to take this exactly like I did when I was an NYPD detective, and I'm going to give and make sure my investigators and auditors have every resource necessary.
Wow. Crazy stuff. Dozens of subpoenas going out, whistleblowers coming out, fraud and human trafficking within H-1B. See, this is how you get the whole H-1B thing absolutely taken out. See, because the courts were fighting them. The courts were trying to limit all the stuff Trump was trying to do to stop this. Okay? But now it's getting exposed for what it is, and now you prove that they're using it for trafficking. Good luck keeping it together. Then the Senate has forced to act because the people won't stand for that. So this is great news. This is continually, guys. See, justice isn't just about getting the bad guys, the names at the top. Justice is about protecting the people, and that includes our finances. That includes our work, our ability to work and grow and support our families. That's justice. And all of this is justice. Cleaning up the fraud, cleaning up the bad guys, all of it. And the Trump administration continues to do great stuff on all these. And it's like, again, I understand we want big names, but if you can't say that we're winning, if you can't say we're making huge strides forward, then I don't have anything else to talk to you about. Because if you're just never going to be happy until you see Obama perp walked, well, I'm sorry. It's not the way the world works. Do I want to see that too? 100%. But what we really need is justice overall. And I believe the Trump administration is cleaning up from the bottom up. I really do, as much as they can to protect the people. And this tells you right now how scared they are. Right now, because that's the DOJ doing wonderful work. Well, Justice Connection just put this out, that they are putting together 1,200 former DOJ employees to oppose Todd Blanche's nomination for AG. You know, I remember a couple months ago when Todd Blanche was appointed to be acting AG after Bondi left. And you know what I was told? Can't trust Blanche. He used to be a Democrat. Except for, lots of people used to be Democrats, including Donald Trump. Again, the guilt by association game doesn't work, folks. It doesn't hold up to evidence. What has held up is that Todd Blanche has been killing it. He's really ramping things up. Trump loves him. He was the lawyer for Trump, defending him against the deep state attacks under the Biden administration. And now he's got them terrified. In fact, 1,200 former DOJ employees signing a letter to have him not nominated. That's deep state panic, folks. That's deep state panic. And that tells you all you need to know about Blanche. So he's one of the good ones. Our letter warns senators a vote to confirm Blanche is a vote to undermine the independence of the Justice Department. You know what that means? It means, I'll tell you what, the Justice Department's not supposed to be independent. It's part of the executive branch, which is the presidency. It's not supposed to be independent from the presidency. It's supposed to be part of the presidency. That's number one. What they mean by this, what they actually are saying is this is rooting out the deep state from the Justice Department, because it's the deep state that's operating independently of what Trump wants. It's the cabal, the establishment, that is independent from what Trump wants. And that's what they're really saying. If you appoint Todd Blanche, he's going to wipe us out. Uh-oh. And that already, Bondi did a lot of that already. And they fought Bondi. And they're really, really scared of Blanche. Why? Well, again, I continue to believe that Blanche, along with Kash Patel, is the pit bull. I think Bondi was administrative. I think that was her gift. Administrative. She set up the Justice Department for it to run. She cleaned it out, got it ready. And now with Blanchen working with Patel, we're seeing the real ramp up. And that's why when you hear stuff like Steve Bannon going out there and saying, I don't care about your statistics, Cash, show me names. That's actually a black pill. That's actually trying to get you to worry that the Trump administration is not getting anything done. That's a psyop. The truth is, these numbers matter, and the enemy is telling you they matter. Truth is, everything Cash puts here has them terrified. And so I don't care what Steve Bannon says. I care about results. And right now we're getting results. And by the way, if you don't care about those numbers, Stevie boy, are you telling me you don't care about the fact that the UFC event wasn't bombed by drones? Are you telling me you don't care about the fact we haven't had any sleeper cells unleashed since going into Iran? Because if you don't care about numbers, you only care about names. That's what you're telling me. And that means, Stevie boy, you and everybody else complaining about this Justice Department right now is partnering with the enemy in exactly what they want you to believe. And that's just a fact. So we're winning, and it's only going to get better from here. Trust me, the deep state's telling you. Whether you believe me or not, you can believe them. They're in full panic. All right. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching today. Thanks to everybody who gave a super chat. Let me get into the conversation here. Make sure I didn't miss anything. I did get a $5 super chat from Chiosap. It says, never bet against Trump. He's had 4 years to plan this all out. Amen. I also see Chuck and Eric Backstrom sent Eagles for 400 jewels. Thank you guys for that. And Chio, thank you for supporting the channel. It's greatly appreciated to you. I agree with you. I think that the 4 years of Biden is ending up being one of the greatest gifts we ever got, because it gave Trump time to reassess, to rebuild, to plan, and to better staff his team going forward. So we're getting everything. I feel like I'm getting everything I voted for. I really do. And I think many, many people agree with me on that. Beretta asked, Grifter Report. I actually did the Grifter Report second today, so you'd have to go back and watch it. I did it with the Tyler Robinson trial. DJ says, if Democratic establishment puts a candidate that's not a socialist to replace Plattner, socialists will blame the establishment when Democrats lose. That's a full socialist takeover. Couple things there, DJ. There's no Democrats anymore that aren't socialists, so there's that. Everybody they appoint will be a socialist. They'll just hide it. But you're right about one thing. You're right that if because of this establishment appointment, is going to cause more civil war in the Democratic Party, which is already happening. They're going to be very upset about this. It's going to hurt them in the midterms because there's going to be a bunch of far lefties who won't show up now, and they're shooting themselves in the foot going forward. They tried to tame a bear. Let's just put it that way. They brought a bear. The Democrats brought a bear and a tiger into their home, and they said, "Cool, these guys help us stay strong." And it did. It kept people away for a while, protected their home for a while. But those are wild animals, and they can't survive in the house very long. And now the bear and the tiger are getting hungry, and they're tired of being fed, fake meat. They're tired of soy, which is all Democrats feed each other, is soy. They're tired of it. They want real meat. And they've been promised they're going to get rid of meat for months and years now. And it kept getting taken away from them. Well, they're too hungry now. They're not accepting the soy anymore. They're going for the meat, which means the Democrats are the only meat available, and they're going to eat their own. That's what they're looking at right now. And it's only going to get worse for them going forward. The socialists are outwardly taking over that party. It's going to take a little time to do the whole thing, but if they even do it. But regardless, it doesn't matter, because all it means is the Democrats as a party are getting weaker and weaker every year going forward for a long time until they figure this out. And it's going to take a long time to do that. They just don't learn. All right, Heather Bliss, welcome to the Basic Asshole membership. Thank you for supporting me, and you now have access to all the members live. So look to see you in there. Appreciate the support. All right, guys, I gotta take off. I gotta take my daughter somewhere. So appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Thank you all for watching today. Please hit that like, subscribe, And, we will end in a prayer here. Okay, Sooner says, I remember when Sean Hannity was hot on the Seth Rich story, then all of a sudden Fox or someone put clamps on his lips and he never mentioned it again. Oh, yeah. That's what they do. That's exactly what they do. All right, guys, let's pray and get out of here. So, Heavenly Father, thank you for today. God bless everybody here and for watching, and I pray a blessing over each and every one of them. And you'd be with them, Lord, where they need you, and even with them where they don't, where they just can enjoy you. Father, we pray a blessing over our president, that you protect him and give him wisdom in all he does, and give him courage moving forward, continued courage for every major problem. And Father, bless our country. Pray for justice, peace, prosperity to come to our country like never before, that we truly get to see the golden age, and we can leave it to our kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids. They can have a better country than we ever got. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, love you guys. Appreciate you. I will see you all tomorrow. Same bat time, same bad channel. God bless you and have a great rest of your day. Take care.
Headlines screaming like a siren at night. Red and blue shouting, nobody's right. Smoke in the streets, truth under attack. Everybody's loud, nobody's got facts. Feeds keep scrolling, nerves stay tight. Matchsticks flicked in the dead of night. They sell fear, cheap package the lies, while the clock keeps ticking, empires on fire. Can't sit quiet while the world's on edge. Lines in the sand, standing on the ledge. No script, no leash, no polish, quiet. Just a voice in the dark and a spark to the wire. There's no script, no leash, no polish, quiet. Just a voice in the dark and a spark to the gonna light it higher. No filter, no fear, I say it raw. Strike the match, let it burn through the fog. This is and I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. Everybody's selling truth like a brand, buying opinion.